हॅलो.
बोला. दत्ता बापरडेकर, त्याच्यानंतर हुपरीकर सर. स्पीकर ते हे ते पण बोलणारच आहेत ना.
हॅलो.
हॅलो.
हाँ नमस्कार सर जी.
हाँ नमस्कार सर. नमस्कार.
कौन चंडालिया सर जी? अक्षया.
हाँ अक्षया मैडम आहे.
नमस्ते.
नमस्ते नमस्ते, कैसे हैं?
We ठीक. Thank you for joining on behalf of Panchakarma department from Science Ayurved.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Carry on.
तिवारी सर नमस्ते.
हाँ नमस्ते नमस्ते सर जी, वेलकम.
कैसे हैं सर आप? थैंक यू सर.
सर आपका आशीर्वाद है. आपका नाम सुना तो ज्वाइन करना ही था सर.
बॅकग्राऊंड काय हे करत नाही, डाउनलोड करत नाही. आता सर बसवा.
जॉइन झालेले आपण
ठीक आहे. आता तुम्ही असंच लावता बॅकग्राऊंड.
नमस्कार सर्व.
ठीक आहे. नमस्कार सर.
नमस्कार. पंकज दुधमल सर.
हाँ नमस्कार सर.
नमस्कार नमस्कार.
पार्टिसिपेंट क्लोज करतो.
पार्टिसिपेंट
क्लोज करायचं.
आपला म्यूट आणि अनम्यूट हे पण म्यूट. इतर गोष्टी आपण
आपला व्हिडिओ ऑफ. आणि कोणी समजा बोलत असेल तर इथे तुम्हाला म्यूट करायचं.
बाकीच्या सर्वांना म्यूट ठेवायचं आहे. वाइल प्रेझेंटेशन.
ओके सर, बेस्ट लक.
First of all, a very warm welcome and good afternoon to everyone on behalf of Panchakarma department from Science Ayurved College. सगळे जॉइन झाले. Shall we begin? Sachin sir, Patade sir.
Yes.
Shall we begin?
बाकी हुपरीकर सर आणि आले आहेत का?
सचिन सर तर मला दिसत आहेत आणि हुपरीकर सर मला दिसत नाही.
मॅडम मॅडम
हुपरीकर सर.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes sir.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Yes yes yes. मी फक्त म्यूट करून ठेवलाय आणि व्हिडिओ पण बंद ठेवलाय माझा. बाकी काही नाही. ओके
ओके ओके.
नमस्कार सर.
मॅडम आले आहेत का?
हाँ नमस्कार सर. आहे.
नमस्कार 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 नमस्कार.
वेलकम मॅम.
थैंक यू.
So this is the national seminar for Panchakarma organized by Science Ayurved College. I welcome you all. Myself Dr. Akshaya Patil, assistant professor in Panchakarma department. So we are on time, I guess, 5 minutes late, but I apologize for that. So moving ahead, I will request Dr. Darshana Kulkarni, a student, to sing Dhanvantari Stavan.
Namami Dhanvantarimadhidevam Surasurairvanditapadpadmam Loke Jararu Bhayamrutyunashanam Dhataramesham Vividham Shadinam Shankham Chakram Jaraukam Dadatamrutagatam Charudavir Chaturbhi सूक्ष्म स्वच्छाकिरीत्या शुकपरिविलसन् मौलिमम्बोजनेत्रं कालाम्बोधोज्ज्वलाङ्गं तटितटविलसश्चारुपीताम्बराटिं वन्दे धन्वन्तरिं तं निखिलजदवनं प्रौढदावाग्निलीलं प्रौढदावाग्निलीलम्
Thank you, Darshana. Moving ahead, now may I request Dr. Rajendra More sir, head of our department, to express his thought and welcome all the dignitaries. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshaya. Panchakarma is one of the world's famous treatment of very ancient treatment modality. Ayurveda, while moving to 22nd century, the younger generation is moving towards Panchakarma for treatment of lifestyle disorders. Panchakarma treatment is really and truly promising treatment of lifestyle disorders. So now it is our responsibility to have full scientific knowledge and update of Panchakarma. For this, today we are having two eminent speakers and eminent moderators with us. I welcome them for this webinar. I also welcome all the faculties, my colleagues, UG and PG students in this national webinar on Panchakarma. Today, there are many practitioners are doing various types of basti, nasya, and Datta mokshan in day-to-day practice. But vaman karma is comparatively doing less than other karma, where vaman karma is also very important than other karma. To remove the fear of vaman karma, to attention of very small points of or mistakes which happen in vaman karma, to avoid vyapat in vaman karma, and to inspire to do many more vaman karma procedure in day-to-day practice. So we decided to arrange for women subject in this webinar. Also for this session, we have senior Ayurved consultant, practitioner, teacher, senior teacher, Dr. Rajendra Huparikar sir in this session. In this pandemic, COVID-19, our many colleagues, practitioners successfully and confidently treat and cured many patients by Ayurvedic Panchakarma treatment. So Panchakarma treatment is also effective to cure COVID-19 patients. Dr. Bapardekar will tell more about the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Satpute sir. Satpute sir.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
Satpute sir, can you hear me?
Hello. Hello. Akshaya. Akshaya. Hello. Akshaya. Am I audible?
बोला सर बोला हाँ ऑडिबल.
Akshaya?
Sir, you are audible.
Okay. Good afternoon to one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome to all the experts and delegates. In regard to our college, ours is government granted college, runs by management Ayurved Prasarak Mandal, a charitable trust with 75 intake to UG. We do have MD in 4 subjects: Ayurved Samhita, Dravya Gun, Rasa Shastra and Bhaishya Kalpana, and Kai Chikitsa with 21 sanction intake. We do have PhD in 9 subjects. Recently, we admitted 36 high-profile PhD candidates. Ours is genuinely running hospital consisting of 125 beds. We do have well-equipped OPD and IPD Panchakarma setup. We perform good number of Panchakarma every year, including Vasantik Vaman, Shairadik Virechan, Raktamokshan. We are regularly conducting Panchakarma hand-on practice training workshop. Since last 10 years. Hello, Akshaya. Akshaya. Hello. Am I audible?
You're audible, sir.
Now regarding today's webinar, we cherish the presence of Dr. Sachin Chandaliya sir from Nagpur and Dr. Datta Bapardekar sir from Bid as today's eminent speakers. We look forward hearing from you. Warmest welcome to Dr. Rajendra Huparikar sir from Pune and Dr. Seema Chawardol madam from Mumbai as moderator for today's intellectual summit. I express my sincere thanks to all experts. I feel a deep sense of gratitude towards Dr. Vishwajit Patade sir. Sir is professor in Panchakarma department, our trustee. His passion and commitment, his leadership qualities and strategic thinking encourage us to move forward. I congratulate and appreciate the efforts of Dr. Rajendra More sir, HOD to Panchakarma department, a man with wisdom, Dr. Pankaj Tathed sir and Dr. Akshaya Patil madam for organizing and conducting this webinar. I must appreciate the efforts of Dr. Dudmal sir for his able coordination. So all said, we assure you of quality listening. Thank you very much. Akshaya, over to you, Akshaya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, moving ahead, I have a privilege to introduce a man of an hour and generous speaker, head of the department of Shree Ayurved Mahavidyalaya Nagpur, Dr. Sachin Chandaliya sir. He is the first speaker for today's session. Before moving ahead, I would like to give a short introduction regarding to Sachin sir. He has a teaching experience of more than 2 decades. With his enthusiasm and educational strengthening, many PG students has been gone through under his guidance. He has been recipient of Best Teacher Award by Shree Ayurved Mahavidyalaya Nagpur. Also, he is a gold medalist from Institute of Indian Medicine. He has been awarded with Ranade Puraskar for many article publications. One of the most popular and dynamic teachers among all many PG and UG students, and also among our teachers, Dr. Sachin Chandaliya sir. So, Sir, please may I your speech. And for this session, we have Dr. Huparikar sir as a moderator for this session. I would like to recognize and acknowledge the moderator for this session, Dr. Rajendra Huparikar sir. Sir is a leading Ayurvedic practitioner and Ayurvedic consultant, professor, head of the department of Tilak Ayurved Mahavidyalaya in Panchakarma department. He has a teaching experience of almost more than 3 decades. One of his greatest achievement is that he has been awarded with Vaidya B.G. Ghanekar Teacher Award in 2017 from Khadiwala Vaidyak Samshodhan Sanstha. Also, he has been gold medalist during his academic years. He has published many research papers on various topics in national and international journals. He holds the responsibility of director and council member in many organizations. Thank you, sir, for being with us. So may I now request Dr. Sachin, sir, to begin with his speech. Sachin, sir. Sir.
Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Akshay. I would like to start my PPT presentation. So let me kindly allow me to share the file.
Your co-host, sir. Hello, Sachin sir.
Yes, sir.
Your co-host, you can share your screen.
Yes. Yes. Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Dr. Bapardekar sir, Dr. Huparikar sir, Dr. Satpute sir, Dr. More sir, Dr. Chawardol madam, Dr. Tiwari sir, and all. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present my thoughts on Vamana. So the title of the today's lecture, I'm directly starting the lecture. So the title of the, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Completely
okay,
audible.
Yeah, thank you. So the title of my today's presentation is Refining Practical Aspects of Vamana. So, okay. So today we are going to discuss following points in the presentation. So initially we'll go for the Vamana introduction, then selection of the patient, Vamana indication, Vamana contraindications. Then we will discuss shortly on Vaman Vidhi. Then some practical observations of Vaman Vidhi, and then I would like to discuss some special points like Vaidiki criteria, Mayaniki criteria, and Antiki criteria. And at the last, I would like to put some thoughts on the scientific writing of Vaman Patraka. So we'll go for the introduction first. So as Dr. More sir said that Vamana procedure is quite risky one if not handled carefully. It is always a serious issue regarding handling the Vamana procedure. But amongst all the Panchakarma, I always think. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yes,
Yes, sir. Continue. You are perfectly audible.
Yeah. So something special about Vamana, I always think that this is a unique procedure from Ayurveda, which very few pathies have ever tried or adopted in ancient times in other parts of the world. Enema or basti or purgation were common than this procedure amongst all the ancient pathies. It is the most difficult procedure amongst all for both Vaidya also and for the patients also. So while carrying on the procedure, Vaidya is also very on alert position while carrying out the Vamana procedure. But though it is difficult, from the Panchakarma expert point of view, I think personally that it's commercially more effective than other procedures. Like for basti, one has to invest 8 to 10 days along with a lot of energy from measure point of view, from the medicinal point of view. Even in fact, in Virechana also, if the patient has to undergo the procedure for the whole day. So as compared to all the other procedures, it is quite all those two major procedures. It is quite good procedure to carry out if you are expert in it. So I always take Vamana as my favorite procedure. So there are a lot of points I want to discuss with through this presentation. So I will move fastly from one point to another. So before initiating any Vamana procedure, our aim should be very fixed. So through that Vamana procedure, we should get the maximum doshas out from body to reach the final finish line of Vamana with the Pitta expulsion at the end, and to avoid the possible complications. Accordingly, one should move to the Vamana procedure. So while the care or the caution begins from the selecting the patient. So while going for the history taking, Samiksha Bhavas explained for the Panchakarma should be followed very carefully. Then one should look for the inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, and the screening if possible. Right. So before moving to individual inclusion or exclusion criteria, Samiksha Bhavas, which are explained by Charaka, should be watched very carefully. Those Samiksha Bhavas are Samikshanihi Dosha, Beshaja, Desha, Kala, Bala, Sharira, Ahara, Satya, Sattva, Prakriti, Vaya, and Vaisam Avastantarani and Agni was specially explained in the Charasiddhi 3. So the physician should carefully examine before Vamana procedure at two levels. One is the Roga Pariksha, that is the quantity of the doshas. So Vamana and all the Sankshodhana procedures should be carried out in the Bahudosha Avastha. So the symptoms, signs and symptoms explained in the Charasutra 16, the signs and symptoms of the Bahudosha Avastha should be carefully looked into, and the Avastha for the disease in which you are carrying out the procedure, like in Amla Pitta, or in Rakta Pitta, or in Shwasa, or in Kushta. One should go specifically. One should look for the specific avasthas of the disease also. And in the Rogi Pariksha, amongst all the 12 bhavas which are explained in above, from my point of view or from practical point of view, there are 3 points which particularly should be looked for, are the Prakruti, Koshta, and the Bala, that is the physical strength of the patient. So for Prakriti format, maximum times we generally do not try to carry out the Prakriti examination, but in our Panchakarma department we have prepared a special format. We call it as a Panchakarma Rugna Parikshan Patra, PRPP, as a short form we call it. And in that PRPP we have put the Prakriti format. These are the 20 small points, which on the basis of which it takes hardly 2 minutes to carry out all this examining the patient for all these points, body build, skin, hair, complexion. So it will help you. Oh, shit. 1 second. Sorry. Sorry. How to go to the main slide. Okay. So this is the Prakriti format, which should be carefully filled before initiating the procedure, so that we can have the idea of the Prakriti of the patient, because Kapha Prakriti patients can tolerate the procedure very well, and in Vata Prakriti you should be very careful, are my observations. Okay. Then next, the Koshta format. We have prepared the special Koshta format for all the Panchakarma procedure also. Like it is very important to know the cost of the patient. In Vagbhat Sutrasthana 18, Kostam Vibhajya, while discussing the doses of the Vamana medicines, the Vagbhata is advised to analyze the Kosta. So this is the Kosta format on the basis of which we should decide the cost of the patient, right? Then for me, especially for Vamana and Virechana procedure, Bala Pariksha or the physical strength of the patient is very necessary. If the patient is weak or too weak, Avamya Stavata, Chataksinati, Sulati, Kurusha, Bala, Urubha, Durbala. So Bala point is important in every patient. Also in Samiksha Bhava, Charaka is advised to assess Dosha Ushada dosha, beshaja, desha, kala, bala. So bala or the physical strength of the patient is very necessary, and we cannot balam vyam shaktam parisha. So you cannot ask the patient to do the vyam for examining the physical strength of the patient. So generally, from the history taking, we come to we decide the physical strength of the bala. Along with that, the three factors which generally should be considered for considering the for deciding the physical strength of the patient. Those are the age. The patient should be in young or middle age. The akruti, the patient should not be ati stula or ati krusha. He should be having the madhyam akruti, and so on. Generalized tone of the body should be looked on. If the patient is too skinny or too flabby, he should be avoided for the procedure. So what will help? How the bal will help the physician? It helps to decide the nature of vamana, or in fact the nature of any procedure, or the virechana also and the basti also, whether to go for the murdu procedure or the tikshna procedure, and selection of the dose of the woman drug to avoid the large doses in cases of the weak patients, which may lead to the complication. So now moving to the inclusion criteria. Charaka has explained the inclusion criteria in detail, like शेषस्तु वम्या विशेषस्तु पिनस कुष्ठनवजोर राजेक्ष्म कास श्वास गलग्रह गलगंड श्लीपद मेह मंदाग्नि विरुद्ध अजीर्णान्न विसूचिका अलसक विषगर पीत दष्ट दिग्ध विद्ध अदशोणित पित्त प्रसेक दुर्नाम उल्लास रोचक विपाक अपची अपस्मार उन्माद अतिसार क्षोभ पांडुरोग मुखपाक दुष्ट स्तन्यादया श्लेष्म व्याधय विशेषेण महाद्यक्ताश्च. So in short, these are the textual references. Practically, we carry out the procedure in venous kushta, the patients with the psoriasis, rosacea, keratosis pilaris, prurigo nodularis, acne, and all the things. Navajvara. I have given I have the cases of the patients having Navajvara, in which the woman was given and the temperature was reduced within 2 hours. The patients of a kasa, kapapradhan, especially pitta kapapradhan kasa, kapapradhan shvasa, shlipada, mandagni, adograkta pitta, especially the cases of the menorrhagia, amla pitta, shita pitta, medoroga, kapaj unmada, the cases of the depression, shotha, kapaj dushtasanya, krimi, hypothyroidism, PCOS, infertility, male or female both, menstrual disorders, and mukhadushika. These are the practical examples or practical diseases which generally we carry out vamana in. Now, so practically, the inclusion criteria sums up like the vamana should be given in the kapha pitta dominant disorders. For me, Bala and Vruddha, I have limited my upper level up to 55 years. Though 60 or 65 years, if the patient is having good physical strength, you can go for vamana in these patients. But for me, practically, I limit myself to the 50 or 55 patients, because as the age grows, or as the age passes by, the bala or the physical strength of the patient becomes slower. Then diseased with a good physical strength, and swasth if the patient is physical strength fit in the Vasant Ritu. Now, for me, I specially concentrate on the avamya patient. Whenever the patient comes in the OPD, and if we decide for the patient, if we decide to give vamana in those patients, I exclusively pass through all my criteria whether the patient should be taken for the vamana or not. Avamya stavata kshatak shinati stulati kurusha bala vruddha durbala श्रांत पिपासित क्षुदित कर्म भाराद्व हतोपवास मैथुन अध्ययन व्यायाम चिंता प्रसक्त क्षाम गर्भिणी सुकुमार संवृत्त कोष्ठ दुश्चर्दन ऊर्ध्व रक्तपित्त प्रसक्त छर्दी ऊर्ध्व वात स्थापित अनुवासित. I will drag your attention to this particular astapit and anuvasit. We will discuss this point later on, but I will ask you to keep in memory of these 2 points. Rudroga, Udavar, Mutragata, Pliha, Gulmodara, Ashtila, Soropagata, Timira, Shirashankar, Karnakshi, Shulartha. So these are the reasons which Charka has explained while excluding these patients. So I will not go into detail. Instead of that, we'll discuss practically which patient should be excluded. So age above 55 or the below 12 years, because in children, inability to bear the strength of the process. And in children, I think from my point of view, the size of the stomach and the esophagus is too small to give the Vamak medicine. In some cases of Ajirna, one can go with the simple Lavan gel for Sadhya Vamana in this patient. But below the age of the 12 years, no one should go for the, this is my suggestion, no one should go for the full-fledged Vamana procedure, like giving the Snepan and carrying out Abhyanga Svedana and full-fledged with the Vamaka medicine, the Vamana procedure. Now, Ati Stula. In the treatment of the Stula in Charasuprasani 21, Charka has mentioned Ullekhana in the treatment of the Stula. And in contraindications, he is asking us not to give Vaman in Atistula. So there is a difference between Stula and Atistula. In current era, we differentiate between the obese and the overweight. So in overweights, you can go for Vamana, but in obese, you should restrict yourself from Vamana. For me, I have developed a criteria. The abdominal belly, who is having abdominal belly more than 44 inches and above, should not be given Vamana. For me, I have observed that while going for Vamana in Stula patient, while producing the Vegas, the Stula patients have the difficulty to produce those Vegas just because of the layer of the fat in between the muscles and the peritoneal cavity. It is very difficult to create that much abdominal pressure through the which will give the strength to the stomach muscles to throw the vomitus out. So this in Atistula patients, these patients have the Vamana in these patients have to lead to the balahani or the exhaustion after a certain period, after say 20 to 25 minutes. So I generally avoid the patients having the belly, abdominal belly more than 44 inches. I will also ask you to restrict yourself for giving the Vamana in very skinny patients or weak patients. As I said earlier, weak patients cannot hold the pressure, cannot withstand the pressure of the Vamana throughout the procedure. So one should not administer or advocate Vamana in these patients. One more thing I would like to drag your attention to. In Avamya, there is word Adhyayana. Kshatakshinaati Sulati Krusha. Vyayama Adhyayana Chinta is the word in Avamya. So the students who are preparing for the various competitive exams, also I have observed in 4 to 5 patients, the Upadrava like Jivadana. So when we screened again those students or those patients, we found that they were having very irregular lifestyle, like having the tea or smoke or night awakening and all those things. And I also ask all the people to restrict yourself from the patients having the night shift jobs because they cannot bear the strength of the Vamana procedure. Garbhini, LMPs must in while screening the patients for Vamana. I accidentally once I had given Vamana in the Garbhini. She was expecting for 2 months, and she didn't give me the history of her missed menses. When I completed my procedure and I was telling the Pathya and Apatya and Sansajan Krama to that patient, and then suddenly she said, "हाँ ये मेरे दोनों के लिए ठीक रहेगा ना, हम दोनों के लिए ठीक रहेगा." So I was surprised. Who ये दोनों कौन है? So she said that she's expecting, so बच्चे के लिए भी ठीक रहेगा ना. So I was shocked. So fortunately there was no mishap like Garbhapat and all those things. But since then I started taking LMP is the must thing for all the female patients. Also, there is word duschardayo in the contraindication. Saurut koshta duschardanayo atimatra pravahana dosha smutprishta anta koshta janayanti adanta visarpam sambam jadyam vaichityam maranamva. So the patients who are not having the history of the episode of vomiting in their previous lives, we should not give Vamana to those patients. मैं हर बार पेशेंट को पूछता हूँ आपको जिंदगी में पहले उल्टी हुई है या नहीं हुई है, because I think or there might be the absence of the chemoreceptor trigger zone. So कुछ patients में कभी जिंदगी में उल्टी की ही नहीं होती है, तो संवृत्त कोष्ठ दुष्छर्द नहीं हो, अतिमात्र प्रवण. So in these patients, if you go for Vamana and when you put the medicines inside his stomach, it keeps irritating the stomach muscles, and the patient will not be able to produce the Vamana, and it will lead to the other GI complications as said in the sutra. So dushcharda nahi ho, or the patients who had not the episode of chardi in their previous life should be contraindicated for the procedure of Vamana. Also, while screening the patients of Amla Pitta, one should take the history of GRD. The patients having GRD should be contraindicated for Vamana procedure, because that might lead to the increase the disease also, right? In Urdhva Rakta Pitta, as the patient, if the patient having the previous history of the esophageal, gastric or duodenal ulcer, should not be given given Vamana. The patients who are on the long-term steroids, the patients of the Shwasa especially, or the patient of the Shita Pitta who are having the history of taking the steroids for longer period, I would like to suggest to not go for Vamana in these patients, because what I observed in some patients, that these patients have the tendency to develop the ulcers in their upper GIT mucosa. Steroids has that side effect. So the patients who are on the long-term steroids, if you go for Vamana, you may come across with the Jivadanam or Rakta Chandrika in these patients, right? So also avoid the cardiac patients, Rudroga patients. I have given Vamana in one bypass patient also, but with all the precautions. But personally, in all the Rudrogis, one should avoid the procedure of Vamana, as the changes in abdominal and thoracic cavity, the pressure changes in abdominal thoracic cavity, number one, increase in the blood pressure during the procedure, number two, are the major reasons which we cannot control. So in the cardiac patients, we should avoid the Vamana, and in uncontrolled hypertension also, we should avoid the Vamana procedure. Along with that underweight diabetics, though in Prameha, it is suggested that one should carry out Vamana and Virechan. And the primary Chikitsutra of the Prameha is suggesting that one should carry out Vamana and Virechan. But underweight diabetics and DM1, I think from my point of view, this Vamana should be contraindicated in these two patients. Like the patients who are having the patients who have undergone thoracic and abdominal surgery in recent past, so 6 months history is sufficient. So we should avoid Vamana in those patients also. We don't know what has happened inside the abdominal cavity. So it is better to avoid these patients also. Also, one should avoid the patients of Udavarta, because the patients, the intestinal motility in the patients of the Udavarta is very unpredictable. And Charka said that Udavarta, Urdo Vata Astapita Anuvasitanam, Vatati Urdo Pravuttisyat. So, as per suggestions of the Charka, we should avoid the patients of Udavarta. Instead of that, you should go for Basti or Virechana first in those patients, and then if you want to go for Vamana, then after you can go for Vamana in these patients. And then the cases of the Mutragata, Gulma, Ashtela, Pliha, Udara, in all these patients, Vamana is contraindicated. Behind contraindicating these patients, from my point of view, the main reason is the increased abdominal pressure in these patients. So whenever you go for the Vamana procedure, there are chances of abdominal cavity to be compressed and for throwing out the vomitous out. So if any tumorous or if any growth is there, it may not create certain pressure which is needed for the Vamana procedure, and it may lead to the complication also. So Mutragata and all that group, Gulma, Udara, Ashtila, should be contraindicated for the patients in Vamana. And finally, the patients who are not willing. Vamana is an active process. The patient has to take the call a lot of times. He has to take the glasses. He has to produce the Vamana. So the patient should be convinced before the procedure of Vamana whether you should go for one should go for Vamana or not. So the patients who are not willing for Vamana should not be given Vamana. It is very strict. I have faced a lot of bad experiences regarding administration of the Vamana in the patients who are not willing, and then there are medical legal problems are also there. So the patients who are not willing for Vamana should be contraindicated. Investigations, screening of the patients is must nowadays from all the point of view, from the safety of the patients and from the medical legal point also. At least ECG and USG. ECG is important. USG for USG abdomen should be done for checking any growth inside the stomach, and all the routine examination, biochemical and pathological examination are suggested to go for Vamana before the procedure. Now coming to the Vamana Vidhi. So the procedure of the Vamana is distributed in 3 steps, as all know that Purva Karma, Pradhan Karma, and Paschat Karma. So while conducting any irregularity amongst all the 3 procedures can lead to harm the patient. So one should be very careful while carrying out the whole procedure and at every step. So in Purva Karma, there are 2 points: preparation of the patient and the preparation of the medicine. So for the prepare of the patient, there are 3 steps: Pachana, Sneha, and Svedana, and the preparation of the patient on the rest day. And the second point is the preparation of the Pachana is must before going for Vamana or Virechana also, as you have to give the Snehapana for Vamana and Virechana. So Agni normalization is must for before any Vamana and Virechana. Medicines like Chitrakadivati, Agnipindivati, or Ampachakoti, etc. are given to the patients as per the need, and the Agni of the patient is should be normalized first, or regularized, normalized or regularized first. Now coming to the Snehapana. As the text say, there are the 3 basic aims of Snehapana. So Snehapana loosens the doshas from the channel. It also gives strength, Snehemante Balayacha, or Snehane Balayacha. So it gives the strength to the patient to bear the strain of the procedure, and it prevent anticipatory Vatprakopa. In Charak Sutra 2/15, Chakrapani has described the Kshobhajanya Vatprakopa in women and Virechana patients. So for preventing that Kshobhajanya Vatprakopa, anticipatory Snehapana is must. So Snehapana is very important before both the procedures, Vamana and Virechana. We are talking about Vamana. So practically, and all the other 2 to 3 factors are also important regarding Snehapana. If the patient does not follow Snehapana properly, Vegas are not generated with their full force, and there are a lot of chances of having a Kruchra Vamana. मैंने बहुत बार देखा है कि जब पेशेंट्स को हम लोग वमन देते हैं और स्नेहपन अच्छा नहीं होता है, तो पेशेंट्स के जीआईटी में मैं स्नेहना का वो भी यूज मानता हूँ कि इट मस्ट बी गिविंग strength to the muscles also. So from my point of view, then patient loses the energy too early during the procedure, and post procedure balahani or the symptoms of vata prakopa are very much possible if the patient does not follow the rules of the Snehapana. So Snehapana assessment should be done on these 5 parameters: assessment of the Snehapana dose, that is Matra Vichara; assessment of the time of Snehapana, that is Kala Vichara; assessment of way of administration, that is Kalpana Vichara, Achchapana or Vicharanapana; assessment of the selection of proper Sneha, Vaidhi Vichara; and assessment of the symptoms, Samyak Siddha Lakshana Vichara. So from all these points, I will talk about 2 to 3 points. Number 1 is the Kala Vichara. Matra Vichara, everybody knows the patient, it is given in Vardhaman Matra, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150 or 40, 80, 120, 150 or 50, as per the desha and the post of the patient. Kala Vichara, I have observed a lot of my friends or physicians try to divide the doses to avoid the स्नेहोद्वेग of the patient. I have seen, नहीं आप 100 ml लेना है, 120 ml लेना है, तो दिन में 2 बार ले लो 60 ml, और 200 ml बहुत ज्यादा हो रहा है, एक पेशेंट कंप्लेन सर इतना नहीं लिया जाएगा, एक काम करो आप 100 2 बार लो. So I will strongly recommend not to go for this divided timings of the Snehapana. Snehapana should be given early in the morning. Charka and Vagbata both have cleared this point that Snehapana should be given early in the morning for Sankshodhana before the patient is getting good hunger and after digesting the last night meal. So the Snehapana for the Sankshodhana should be early in the morning, 6 to 7, 6 to 8 is the good call according to the साथमे of the patient. Patient की habit भी देखनी पड़ती है, कितने बजे generally उठता है, उठ जाता है. He gets up early in the morning, and by what time he consumes his tea or snacks, breakfast early in the morning. Then Vyadhi Vichara. There is a big discussion that the Snehapana should be अच्छा और with विचारना और वो घी के पंचतिक्त घृत जैसा सिद्ध घृत देना है. So there is a confusion between the अच्छा and सिद्ध घृत. So जो भी स्नेहपान देना है वो आपको अच्छा ही देना है. अच्छा ही देना means not mixed with any food article. It is always preferable. If the patient has तीव्र स्नेहोद्वेग on the 3rd or 4th day, you can suggest the vicharna, but that is not the best way to administer sneha. And regarding the Siddha Sneha, in Charsutra 13/91, Charka is advocated to go for the Siddha Sneha in the patients of the Prameha and all the disorders as per the disease. So Siddha Sneha can be administered in the for the Snehapana. Okay, in before Vaman and Virechana. So one should observe the Samyak Snigdha Lakshana also very carefully. So Samyak Snigdha Lakshana, these are the general observations. We have almost the data of the documented data of the almost 300 to 400 patients of Snehapana. Everybody must be having, but we have documented. I will show you the documentation. So initially, in the two or all the Samyak Snigdha Lakshanas are not found on the last day. Some Samyak Snigdha Lakshana are found on the first 2 days. There some started appearing on the 3rd day onwards. So initially in the first 2 days, Vatanulomana, Diptogni and Angalagav are quite frequent. Then after 2 to 3 days, Snigdhata in Purusha, Mardota in body movement, Snehodvega, Klama, and Glani the Klama to the patient, and some patients also complain of the Glani, right? And in the 4th, 5 days onwards, the signs and symptoms of the Snigdha Purusha, Snigdhatata Change, Snigdhattvak, and other stuff Darshana start appearing in the patients. So regarding the PCS examination changes observed during Snehapana on PCS also. This is data of the 75 patients. The patients in whom we gave the Snehapana for the 5 days, we analyzed those patients and we observed certain things. So in those patients, other stuff Darshana start appearing on the 5th or 4th or 5th day, 47% and 17%. Then Asahat Mala, the Mala becomes Asahat from the 3rd day onwards, very dominantly. Then Pichil Mala, slimy feces, they also start appearing on the 3rd day onwards. Snigdhata Mala, Adastasnya Darshan is complete separate Sneha and presentation of separate Sneha and the feces, and Snigdha Mala is the presence of oily feces, right? And Vatanulomana and Penil Mala. In some patients, we also observe the sign of the Penil Mala also. So the changes of Snigdhata or the slimness in the Purusha starts appearing after 3rd day or 4th day and the 5th day, depending on the constitution of the posture and the patient. Now gap day measures, Abhyanga and Svedana. So the Vagbata has suggested, if you go carefully, Anyasmin, Ekaham Dinam Anyasmin, the word used by Vagbata. So Vagbata has advocated the gap day of 1 or 2 days, but generally Charka has Ekaham Dinam Anyascha. So is the word, and Charka has clearly advocated the gap of 1 day only. So Abhyanga and Svedana should be done on the gap day and the day before, on the gap day before Vamana, and the day of Vamana. In Charak Kalpasana 1/14, Charaka has clearly Doyam Trayam was Neyam is the reference for advocating the Snehan and Svedana. There was a practice when I was doing UJ and PG of carrying out Snehan Svedana for all the 5 to 7 days during the Snehapana. Nowadays, I don't think it is still existing, but if someone is going for all the days, I don't think it's a wise way to go for Snehana and Svedana, Abhyanga and Svedana for all the 5 to 7 days of the Snehapana. It is not logical also, and it is not the legal also. Legal means textual reference. There is no textual reference for this, for carrying out Abhyanga and Svedana for all the 7 days. Instead, in Charakalpasana 1/14, it is said Dvayam Trayam Va. So for Abhyanga and Svedana, on the last day of the Snehapana, on the gap day, and on the day of Vamana, both these procedures are advocated. Diet on the gap day. If the patient is vegetarian, ask him to go for the Udad Khichdi along with dahi. Mention the patient the matra of the dahi. Ask the patient to have minimum 250 grams to 500 grams of the dahi or dahi vada, having the full, having good quantity of dahi. And if the patient is non-vegetarian, along with these measures, one can suggest the fish also. Then counseling is must before going for the Vamana. It is an important measure from my point of view. The patient should be counseled and should be explained all the procedure beforehand, so that when the patient sits in Vamana chair, he should not have any confusion. What will happen in the next step? So explain the patient all the Vamana steps carefully on the gap day, so that the patient will be well prepared while sitting on the chair, right? So then bus in the morning before Vamana. This is the point which I would like to throw the light upon. There is a practice in Maharashtra. I don't know other parts of the country, but there is a practice of administering basti on the day of Vamana. For me, it is not logical and it is not legal also. First, I will tell you about the logic. If carefully, if we go through the mechanisms of all the procedure, Vamana, Virechana, Nasta, Basti, and all the procedure, if you go through all the indications and contraindications, अगर आप नस्ते में जाओ तो नस्ते में भी कहा गया है कि आप आस्थापन अनुवासन होगा तो उसमें नस्ते मत दीजिए. आस्थापन में भी दिया है कि अगर वोमन विरेचन करते तो तुरंत मत करो, give the gap of certain days, right? Similarly, in woman also, अगर आप कोई दूसरा प्रोसीजर करते हो, so why this? So the procedures are related to the organ. All the procedure, it is always स्थान महात्म्य is always there in पंचकर्मा. दोषों को नजदीक के स्थानों से निकालना है, वो आमाशय, पक्वाशय और शिरोप्रदेश. So स्थान महात्म्य is there. So whenever we are going for Vamana, it is totally related with the upper GIT. So if you are going for Basti beforehand, before just few hours or minutes before the procedure, I think that you are diverting the attention or blood circulation or the various systems of the body towards the lower intestine, and Vamana is expected to drag the attention of the body towards the upper part of the GIT. So it's my logical explanation to avoid giving Basti to the patient. उसके पीछे एक लॉजिक दिया जाता है कि पेट साफ होता है तो मन अच्छा होता है. Throughout संहिता, all चरक, सुषुप्त and वाग्भटा, there is not a single mention of this point. अगर हमें लगता है, अगर हमें और आपको सूझती है चीज कि बस्ती देना चाहिए, तो चरक, सुश्रुत, वाग्भट इन्होंने पंचकर्मा को फाइंड आउट किया, तो वो भी सजेस्ट कर सकते थे इस चीज को कि आप बस्ती दीजिए, सुबह पेट साफ होगा तो वो मन अच्छा होगा. But there is no any not a single reference of this type of administration of basti before the procedure of Vamana. इसके लिए फिर से वो चरक वंशन 8 का श्लोक दिया जाता है कि फिजिशियन को अधिकार है कुछ भी डिसाइड करने का, but there should be some logic behind that. So I strongly recommend not to go for basti before Vamana. And now coming to the legal point of view. जब कॉन्ट्राइंडिकेशंस ऑफ वमना जब डिस्कस कर रहे थे तो मैंने बोला था कि आपको उर्दुवात अस्थापित अनुवासित आर द वर्ड्स गिवन इन द कॉन्ट्राइंडिकेशंस ऑफ वमना. जिन लोगों में अस्थापन अनुवासन दिया हुआ है उन लोगों में आप वमन मत दीजिए. हियर इज द reason behind that. Urduvat astapit anuvasikana urdumvatati prosistat. So Charka has clearly contraindicated to go for Vamana in the patients whom you have advised Astapan and Anuvasan. So you are given Astapan and Anuvasan. So my strong recommendation of avoiding this type of practice of giving Basti before Vamana in the morning. So now coming to the Vamaka and Vamanopaka drugs. Vamaka drugs, generally we carry out Madan Phala and Kutaja. Madan Phal ke baare mein, it is suggested that you take the Madan Phal Pippali, but I have experience of both the using both the things. Vamana, the Palpa Churna or the Phala Churna, barring the Madan Phal Pippali is also having the good results for Vamana. Kutacha Churna is also being used by me for Vamana, but there is difference from my point of view, from me, what I have observed, difference between using these two. Kutacha, when you use Kutacha Churna, it produces the Vamana quite late. The initiation of the Vega in these patients is quite delayed as compared to Madan Phala. Recently, we are using Karvellaka, Madan Phala Aule also for Vaman procedures. So it is also having good results. So Churna Aule, I have used the condition. We take the Madan Phal Churna and mix it with honey and prepare the present we prepare that linctus. So I use that Churna Aule Kalpana for that. For Vamanopak drugs, we use Yashtimadu Kashaya of plant, Dugdha, Ikshura, Poshnajal and Nimbakvat. I have used all these type of Vamanopak dravyas with the groups of 40 or 50 patients. I have the group of Poshnajala of almost 30 patients. The group of Vishuras are using 40 to 50 patients. Every Vamanopak drug are having a slight different mechanism. In Ikshurasa, we saw that Pittanta Darshana is quite frequent than using Godugdha. While using Koshnajala, I have come across Jivadanam as a main complication. So while choosing the Vamanopak drug also, we should be very careful. But the safest drug will be the Godugdha and Ishtimadu combination. These are the medicines. This is Vaman Pit, which we are using. We have designed it in a special way. इसमें एक अलग सा प्रोविजन हम लोगों ने किया हुआ है. It has the उसमें एक अलग सी सुविधा की हुई जिससे वो वमन पिट अकॉर्डिंग टू द हाइट ऑफ द पेशेंट यू कैन एडजस्ट द वमन पिट. आप ऊपर और नीचे ले सकते हैं उसको. So if the patient is short heighted, you can reduce the height of the woman pit, and if the patient is having a good height, you can raise the handles of the woman pit and you can fix it up like that. Right now, coming to the Pradhana Karma. So there are certain points which are to be discussed in the Pradhana Karma. Timing of the Vamana. Purvana is suggested by all the texts. But the probable timing, what would be the Purvana to पूरा दिन सुबह का जो time है वो पूरा का पूरा available है, which time is preferable. So from experience, this experience changes from region to region. I have given Vamana in Gujarat also. I have carried out Vamana in Pune also, in Nasik also, and right now I am carrying out Vamana in Nagpur also. From region to region, the timing may vary, but you should start the procedure as early as in the morning. When at the time of dawn or just after 1 month of the dawn, you should start the procedure. 6 means if you are carrying out Vamana in Nagpur region, 6:15 बजे अभ्यंग स्वेदन को पेशेंट को लेना है, 7:15 बजे you have to start the procedure and finish it by 8 o'clock. If you are doing the procedure in Nasik or Pune, you can start the procedure by 6:30 or 6:45 and Abhyanga Svedana, and start the Vamana from 7:30 to 7:45 and finish it by 8:30. In any case, don't drag the procedure, don't pull the procedure beyond 9 o'clock, because what I observed, whenever you carry the you pull the procedure at later period, and the chances of having the complications gets more. Patient should be slept well at night, and the food should be well digested. अगर patient रात में अच्छी सी नींद नहीं होती है, तो patient का शरीर, the body of the patient is not quite relaxed, and the muscles are not quite relaxed. They are contracted, and the patient is not comfortable while producing the woman vegas. At first, Abhyanga and Svedana should be carried out early in the morning before Vamana, and the condition is called as the woman should be given on the empty stomach. Nirannam is the term used by all the Vagbata and also Vagbata and Charak also. So the patient should be Niranna while going for the Vaman procedure. And in the contraindication, it is said that he should not, woman is contraindicated in the Chudita. उसका रीजन दिया है, उन क्षुदित में अगर आप देते हो तो वात प्रकोप का भय रहता है. Again the same thing, patient, the strength of the patient becomes less when the patient is too hungry, and it may lead to the complications like वात प्रकोप. Yavagu देना चाहिए या नहीं देना चाहिए? I have tried all these things. जब by both the ways, Vamana, the patients have performed Vamana well in both the cases. But by from observation, Nirannam, if the snigdhata is more and enough consciousness is present in the patients, you can go into those patients without Yavagu. And if the patient, you feel if the patient is weak and consciousness is not, snigdhata is not in is not at par or at optimum level, you can go with the Ghutavantam Yavagua, Pitavantam, Charka is advocated. So in those patients, Yavagu mixed with the ghee, you can suggest those patients. So in patient में जिनका स्निग्धता आपके हिसाब से बहुत अच्छा अचीव नहीं हुआ है, उन पेशेंट में Yavagu और थोड़ा सा उसमें 2 चम्मच घी डाल के around 500 ml, you can go for the Yavagu. Yavagu बनाने का तरीका भी बता दीजिएगा पेशेंट्स को. आधा कटोरी चावल और 8 times water should be added, and it should be cooked. And while bringing the Yavagu, the patient should bring the whole material. Otherwise, the patient filters the water and brings the water only or the rice only. So ask the patient to bring both the things. That creates that gives the strength to the patient. Administration of the Vamaka, yes. There are the 2 methods by the 2 texts. Charka has suggested Vamaka Yoga administration first, followed by Vamanopal medicines, and Vagbata has suggested to go for Akantapana first and then Vamaka Yoga. For the beginners, I would always suggest to go to administer the Vamaka medicines after Akantapana. It is always suggested. Because एक वेग आने दीजिए, जब तक आप अकंठपान नहीं कराओगे, मेडिकल पॉइंट ऑफ से, सेफ्टी से और पेशेंट के बल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू शुड वेट फॉर द फर्स्ट बाउट ऑफ द वमना बिफोर एडमिनिस्ट्रिंग द वामक योग. एक बार आप अकंठपान करवाते हो तो उस बीच में एक आध 2 छोटे उपवेग आ जाते हैं, एंड देन यू कैन एडमिनिस्टर द वामका मेडिसिन. एज Vagbata is suggested to go for Akantapana in Sukumar and Durval patients. So it is safe to administer the Vamaka medicine after Akantapana. Keep recording all the things. Quantity of the medicines, time at the, this is the 7-column proforma or format in which we document all the things. So first is the Vamaka or Vamanopodravya, then time of the administration, then the matra, 1 glass, 2 glass. Yeah, we generally count the dose of the glass. कितना ml का approximately पहले count कर लेते 240 और 250 ml के around glasses होते हैं. So finally we count the glasses. Then time at which the Vega appears, the 725, 722, you can see. Then the time again for the other signs and symptoms. And before the starting the procedure, count the BP, pulse, O2 temperature, and all those things. Document all these things. So keep the record of each and every minute of the Vamana procedure, right? While starting the procedure, as I'm going to explain, the pH of the vomitus and the medicines also should be recorded throughout the procedure. Now, during the procedure, once you administer the Vamasa medicine, Akantapa, and the patient starts vomiting, वेगा आना स्टार्ट हो जाते हैं, तब 2-3 चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट है जो हमें करनी चाहिए. You should support the patient, the forehead and umbilical and the back region of the patient, and the two one assistant should hold the 2 flanks and the forehead of the patient. This is very important. If you are not having the attendance, don't go for Vamana. Vamana without परिचारक के सिवा वमन की कोई प्रोसीजर करनी नहीं. In Charkistan 6 and 7, in Charkalpasan 12 also, it is advocated that one should go for these procedures with paricharak only, because complications are there, and to avoid the complications, one should have the all the Sambar Sangra with him, and the Sambar Sangra also contains the also has this thing. That's the essential of the paricharak, right? So paricharak is important. The paricharak should hold the forehead and umbilical region and the back of the patient. Then doing the when you are carrying out the procedure to initiate to stimulate the Vamana Vegas, you should administer various things like people and salt, and Vamana drug administration should be there. I would concentrate on 2 things, एक sendov gel and a simple rubber catheter. जब कंठपीड़न की जरूरत पड़ती है, use simple rubber catheter for contemplator instead of the finger. And sendov gel, use the sendov gel only when the muscles of the patient get fatigued. The smooth muscles of the stomach, when gets fatigued, one should go for the sendov gel. Till then, you should not use the sendov. Sendov helps in the stimulation of the stomach muscle, right? So at that moment only you start using the sendov gel. Till then, you can continue with the Yashtimadukvat. This is the thing which should be kept on. Now, from here onwards, we will discuss 3 major points which I would like to drag your attention on: the Vaigiki criteria, Maniki criteria, and NCK criteria. So, Vaman kaisa hua? Pravar Shuddhi, Madhyam Shuddhi, or Avar Shuddhi. These are the 4 criteria which were discussed by Chakrapani and Dalal in their commentaries. All the 4 criteria have the different importance. All the 4 criteria are not used by the physician at the same time. आप जब वमन की प्रोसीजर कर रहे हो तो आप कितना वेग आ रहे हो, यू आर नॉट काउंटिंग दिस वेग. उसके ऊपर कुछ आप वमन स्टॉप नहीं करते, या कितना बाहर आ रहा है वो आप सिर्फ देखते रहते हो, ऑब्जर्व करते हो, बट यू डोंट स्टॉप वमन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ वेगास एंड मान. अभी नहीं 4 वेग आगे बंद करते, यू डोंट डू दैट. और अभी आ गया enough material बाहर आ गया है, now we'll stop the procedure. You don't concentrate on Vaigiki and Maniki criteria while carrying out the procedure. Vaigiki और Maniki criteria आपको यूज में आफ्टर प्रोसीजर आता है, जब आप संसर्जन क्रम डिसाइड करते हैं कि वमन कैसा हुआ, कितने वेग आए, ताकि मैं 3 दिन का, 5 दिन का, 7 दिन का संसर्जन क्रम फॉलो करूँ. हम लोग जब वमन करते हैं तो एक ही क्राइटेरिया इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, अंतिकी क्राइटेरिया. सो दिस 4 criteria have different significance during the Vamana and Virechana procedure. वेगा के बारे में कहा है कि 4, 6 और 8 वेग. अवर शुद्धि 4 वेगों से, 6 वेगों से मध्यम शुद्धि और 8 वेगों की प्रवर शुद्धि is there. But there is no explanation how to count the vega, right? The terms are used as a vega, upavega and mahavega. So there is a confusion how to count the vega, right? How to count upavega? जब आता है, बाहर आता है, तो उसको वेगा कहे या उपवेगा कहे, इसका हमें अंदाजा नहीं आता. So special efforts were taken to डिफाइन एक वेगा और उपवेगा की डेफिनेशन करने का आई ट्राई टू डू develop this two criteria, Vega criteria. So during Vamana procedure, observations और साइंस ऑब्जर्वेशंस ऑफ साइंस एंड सिम्टम्स एट वेरियस लेवल्स. हम लोग क्या क्या देखते हैं? वमन पूर्व साइंस ऑफ सिम्टम देखते हैं, जैसे कि स्वेद प्रादुर्भावेन, देन लोम अर्शश्च, कुक्षी समाद मापनेन च, देन रुल्लासमास्य श्रवणम च. जब वमन द्रव्य कैसे एक्शन करता है उसके 4 क्राइटेरिया दिए गए. So we observe these signs and symptoms also. We observe the Vegas, the nature of the Vegas. Then we assess the signs regarding the kapha nirvarana and the nature of the vomitus. We decide the nature of the expulsion. क्या आ रहा है, कैसे आ रहा है? Feeling of different taste in the mouth. We ask the certain questions to the patient. Expulsion of the pitta. We wait for the expulsion of the pitta. We assess the nature of expelled kapha and pitta through all these observations. The possible signs and symptoms of the Antiki criteria and assessment of other signs and symptoms indicating Upadra or any possible complications. We as a physician, we are continuously observing all these things while carrying out the procedure. So during the Vega observation, we concentrate on certain things, like we start counting the number of the Vegas or Upavegas, quantity of each Vega, how much quantity is expelled through each Vega, and then observing the nature of the Vegas. ये वेग कैसा आया था? सर्ज था, कुछ रहता है? Does the patient is the patient having the feeling of pain or like all the other symptoms? So we continuously keep on observing, and accordingly we change the direction of the procedure. All surge and cruchirata also depends on the population and the strength of the patients. Now, how to define Vega from Upavega? So a lot of confusion in differentiating Vega and Upavega. Hence, a special scoring pattern, that is bout index BI or the QFT pattern, is said to nomenclate the bout as Vega. It is based on the 3 parameters, that is the quantity of the Vega, then the force with which the Vega is coming out, and the time taken for that particular bout or Vega. Okay, we'll discuss one by one all the 3 points. Now the first, the quantity, right? The quantity of the Vega. हम लोग जब देते, मैंने कहा कि 200 to 240 और 250 का ग्लास होता है. सो हम लोग एज्यूम ये करते हैं कि हम लोग जब देते हैं कुछ दवाइयाँ और उनमें मिक्स होके दवाई बाहर रहती है. सो थियोरेटिकली, लॉजिकली वी थिंक दैट द क्वांटिटी जितनी थी उससे ज्यादा बाहर आनी चाहिए. नंबर 1. बाय एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ द फिजिशियंस प्रेजेंट इन दैट रूम, 5-6 वैद्य हम लोग खड़े हैं और सामने वाला जो द्रव्य बाहर फेंक रहा है उसको देख के हम लोग डिसाइड करते हैं कि ये वेगा है या उपवेगा है. सो रिगार्डिंग द क्वांटिटी शुड बी मोर देन द क्वांटिटी विच यू हैव गिवन टू द पेशेंट. सो अप्रोक्सीमेटली जिसको हम लोगों ने जब उसको वेग कहा है तो उसका क्वांटिटी वी ट्राई टू एनालाइज दोज क्वांटिटीज, वेरियस क्वांटिटीज, एंड द लोअर लेवल ऑफ द क्वांटिटी वाज फाउंड टू बी 300 ml. कि 300 या 350 के ऊपर की जितने भी वेग है वो वेग जैसे दिखते हैं. सो द bottom line of the Vega, that it should have the minimum quantity of the 300 ml, right? At least the quantity should be more than that administered one. So the scoring pattern was set like if it is less than 300, it should have the score of 0, and if it is more than 300, it should have the 1. Now then the force. हम जब देखते हैं वमन की प्रोजर तो you feel the force of the Vega. So we graded this force of the Vega based on the location from where the Vega is coming out. If the patient takes the Vega and suddenly spit it out, it is grade 1 because it is coming out from mouth only. ये इसोफेगस में कोई लोकेशन, कोई स्ट्रेइंग कैपेसिटी नहीं, होल्डिंग कैपेसिटी नहीं. तो इसोफेगस का जो वेग है वो कैसे होता है? तो बाहर पहले का आप ग्लास पी रहे हो और उसके पहले का वेग आ रहा है. सो बिफोर finishing that glass, if the Vega is coming out, it is considered as the Vega from the esophagus. स्टमक का जो वेग होता है उसका स्कोर, उसको ग्रेड दिया 2+. जो स्टमक से आता है उसको दिया 3+. एंड ड्यूडेनल स्फिंक्टर ओपन होने के बाद जब ड्यूडेनल से पूरा येलोइश ग्रीनिश जब पित्त बाहर आता है तो it was graded as a 4+. So scoring pattern was set for the force used to expel the bowel. If it is having grades of 1 plus or 2 plus, it should be 0. And if it is having grade 3 plus or 4 plus, means if it is coming out from the stomach, or if it is coming out from the duodenum, it should be graded as a 1. The score should be 1. Now time taken. Most of the times in some patients, if the patient is having less strength or the patient is quite tending towards the pusher patient, we have observed that the quantity of the vega in those patients is less, but these patients take a long time to expel the bowel. So approximately minimum count time count was 5 to 6 seconds. So score was kept like, if it is less than 6 seconds, it should be 0, and if it is more than 6 seconds, it should be 1. So the bout index was defined, or the vega can be defined on the basis of the 3 factors: QFT, quantity, force, and time. If the bout index is the addition of all the 3 factors, Q plus F plus T, if the bout fulfills any of these 2 or more criteria, it will be termed as vega. So the bout is defined as vega when the bout index is equal to or more than 2. Vega is bout index is more than 2, and upavega if the bout is fulfilling only 1 criteria, then it should be termed as a upavega, right? So this is the data of the 35 patients. Actually, number of vegas, number of upavegas, total, both the addition of the vega and upavega, and the input of the consumption of the total material of that patient was analyzed. Though I am recording all these things, that for the analysis basis, we have selected this 35 patients. So we divided the vega of जिसको वेग कहा गया इस बाउट इंडेक्स के आधार पे, उन वेगों की क्वांटिटी हर वोमन में काउंट की गई. So 0 to 4, the patients who had the bouts in 0 to 4 range were kept in the hour shuddhi. Then the patient who had the vegas 5, 6 or 7 are kept in the second category, the madhyam shuddhi, and the 8 or more vegas are kept in the third category. What I believe, जो वैदिकी और मानिकी जो आंकड़े दिए गए 4, 6 and 8, these are the mean values. हर बार not necessary that 4 ही वेग आएंगे, not necessary that 6 ही वेग आएंगे और 8 ही वेग आएंगे. It's not necessary. These are the mean values. I think चरका must be meant of. और 1 प्रस्थ ही गिरेगा या 1.5 प्रस्थ ही आएगा या 2 प्रस्थ आएगा. It is not like that. These are the mean values. It might be the range, right? So now you can see the जिनमें कम वेगा है, और उनका एवरेज वैल्यू था 1.4, 1.6, उनके उपवेग थे 32, और उनका क्वांटिटी भी कम लिया गया था 6.82 लीटर, राइट? इन मध्यम शुद्धि the average was 6.2, upavegas were 40, and consumption of the material was 11 liters. And in the patients who showed 8 or more than 8 vegas, we are having upavegas also in a larger quantity, that is 45, almost 32 vegas. Number of vega approximate value was 13, and the quantity was also 14 liters. So it is very clear that if the patient consumes, if the patient is having a lesser number of vegas, the purification in these patients is also on a lesser side. If the patient is showing 5 to 6, 7 vegas, the consumption of material and expulsion is also on the medium side. And if the patient is having 8 or more vegas, the nature of his shuddhi is also towards the proper shuddhi, right? So on the basis of this scoring pattern, QFT pattern or bout index, one can define vega and assess the process on the basis of vega also. Now coming to the second criteria, मानिकी criteria. Again the same thing. मानिकी criteria में कहा गया है कि 1, 1.5 और 2 प्रस्थ दिया गया है, लेकिन काउंट कैसे करें? किस चीज को? अच्छा, प्रस्थ के लिए चक्रपाणी ने क्लियर किया है. चक्रपाणी क्लियर दैट द इन पंचकर्मा द one prastha should be considered as the 540 ml. So what is the meaning of the 540 ml? How to calculate this 540 ml? So how to count the ometers? ये ometers कैसे काउंट करना है? मानिकी क्राइटेरिया की बात करें हम लोग, तो जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि each vega should be counted. One second. Yeah. Here you can see the vaman pit, and in the basin you can see the vessel which is having a long handle. So each and every vega is counted in that is major is caught in that vessel, and it is poured into the jar, right? So in this way you can count each and every vega, right? Like this. And now you can judge how much quantity the patient is expelling. You are talking about the mana, right? Now vomitus. Vomitus is the mixture of the medicine and expel dosha. It is a difficult task to separate dosha alone from the medicine. So उन्होंने जो कहा गया है कि एक प्रस्ताव दोष बाहर आते, 1.5% दोष बाहर आते, तो दोष तो मिक्स होके आ रहे हैं मेडिसिन में. So how to separate those doshas? Practically, दूसरी चीज ये कि practically input or output, if you count input or output, it is rarely seen that output is more than the input. I'm talking this. I'm stating this sentence, or I'm giving this statement on very seriously, that I have all the data at my hand. That we have rarely come across where the output was more than the input. Actual in ml and in gram, right? So counting the difference between input and of the medicines and output of the medicine will not help. Means ऐसा assume होना कि दिखने में ऐसा दिखता है कि अपन ने 1 लीटर दिया और उसके ऊपर 1% एक्स्ट्रा आया या 1.5% एक्स्ट्रा आया या 2% एक्स्ट्रा आया, ऐसा we assume like that, but it is not the fact. Generally कम ही आता है, कुछ ना कुछ मटेरियल नीचे रहता है, तो उसका भी प्रैक्टिकली कैसे असेसमेंट किया जाए और 1.5-2 को कैसे समझना चाहिए, ये भी so it needs qualitative and quantitative analysis. So for Maniki criteria, we go. I had 3 solutions. Number 1, counting actual expelled pitchil kapha from the vomiters. Then number 2 solution, counting the difference between the input and output. And solution number 3, counting the biochemical constituents of the vomiters. Now coming to the solution number 1. तो जैसे कहा कि दोष उसमें मिक्स होके आते हैं, तो कफ जो है उसका नेचर जो है वो पिच्छिल स्वरूप का है. सो इफ यू कैरी आउट द प्रोसेस विथ प्लेन वोमन कषाय, अकंठपान के लिए भी वोमन कषाय दीजिए और बाद में वोमनोपल द्रव्य के लिए भी वोमन फांट या वोमन कषाय दीजिए और कोष्णजल दीजिए एट दैट टाइम, और कोई सिर्फ कषाय आप यूज कर रहे हो, सो यू कैन सेंस the pichilta or stanza of the kapha which is coming out, coming mixed with that vomitus. So that mucoid secretions which we call it, which we identify as the kapha floats over the top of the vomitus. And if you collect that at first in the beaker, and after procedure let the vomitus settle down for certain period, then again certain mucoid secretions which will be also collected on the top and at the bottom also. So I will show you. These are the 3, right? So this is the vomitus, and A, B, and C. The A contains the upper part of the vomitus, and the C contains the lower part of the vomitus. The in between there is a liquid solution which we have to exclude, right? So and add those 2 pitchil material, and to my surprise, what I found now, type of the prepiction based on the 2 prasta, the quantity will be 1080, madhyama 810, and avara 540 ml is the 1 prasta, 1.5 prasta. But as I said that these are not the exact quantities, right? These are the range. There is a range, and these are the mean values. So for pravara shuddhi, the range should be 940 ml to 1215 ml. 675 ml to 940 ml is the medium range, and 405 to 675 ml is the low range of the vomiters, which should be there in that beaker. So to my surprise, it is you can also carry out this procedure. Have the patient data of the 29 patients. I categorized I was finding out कि कफ पित्त पेशेंट में या कफ प्रकृति के पेशेंट में ज्यादा मिलता है नहीं है. So I analyze in that way also. This is the just way of presentation. The viscous material or the जिसको हम लोग कफ कह सकते हैं. To my surprise, it was always around 500 to 900. So these are the average values जो हम लोगों ने पेशेंट्स का हैंडल किया. So ऐसा होता है. These are just मैंने सिर्फ ये कफ का जो पिछिल कफ है उसके बारे में बात की है. बहुत सारे कफ के constituents we will talk about it later also. So it is possible that this quantity, this whatever the quantity which Charka has declared in Prastha Man might be very true for Kapha and Pitta also in Virechana. So this was the Maniki criteria. Now, so coming to the solution number 2, I again developed one index, that is Maniki index, because practically it is not possible every time if you are using Dugdha or if you are using any viscous material for carrying out the procedure, it will be difficult to separate that mucus from that Dugdha. और जब आपने देखा होगा वॉन के बहुत बार दूध पड़ जाता है, वो पूरा सेमी सॉलिड और वो मटेरियल बन जाता है. So it is not possible in those patients to separate that mucus. So, or practically whatever input difference should be there. So we count the difference also, input and output. And as I said earlier, I always found the difference is towards the lower side. लेकिन आप कितना दे रहे हो और कितना बाहर आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है, that is also very important thing for the physician to understand. So Maniki Shuddhi index concentrate on that point. So Maniki Shuddhi index is the percentage volume inside divided by volume input into 100. Maniki Shuddhi is the percentage of the volume remaining inside in comparison to the quantity that was administered. For example, in one patient, the quantity remaining inside was 2780, and in another patient, when he had consumed 4960, and if another patient, the quantity remaining inside is 2250, when he was having 14 liters and 800 ml of the medicine, communicable medicines inside. So both the values are looking very close to each other, 2780 and 2250, around more than 2 liters inside the stomach. But both are having the different significant value. So we try to count the MSI in those patients. MSI in the first patient was 56.04. 2780 was the quantity remained inside, and 4960 was the administered. So this is the percentage, and it is the 56.04. And in the second patient, it is 2250 against 14 liters 800 ml. So the percentage is 15.20. So MSI of the first patient is more than the MSI of the second patient. So the volume remaining inside in the second patient was clinically less significant than the first one. पहले पेशेंट के लगभग आधा मटेरियल बीच में रह गया है और दूसरे पेशेंट का लगभग 15% मटेरियल बीच में रह गया है. So it is very important to assess the MSI. So I have one rule for me, as MSI is inversely proportional to the nature of the Maniki Shuddhi. MSI is inversely proportional to the type of the Maniki purification. When the quantity expelled outside is less than the quantity ingested by an individual, it simply means that if MSI is greater, the nature of the Shuddhi will be lower, pointing towards our Shuddhi. Hence, the physician should always try to be more attentive to lower the MSI. So we also analyze this the MSI, and you'll find that the patients in whom the complications are lower, the MSI of the patients should be around 10 to 15 minutes. So from experience, I can suggest that the whatever quantity you are suggesting, whatever quantity you are giving to the patient, you continue the counting till the end, and before asking the patient to leave the vaman room, always count the output also and compare both the input and output, and try to calculate what is the amount which is remained inside. If it is more than 10 to 20% or 15%, be careful before advising the patient to go out of the vamana procedure. Ask the patient to wait and try to bring out that the quantity out. Now coming to the solution number 3 of the Maniki criteria. I have a dream. I always speak about that. जब भी woman की बात करते हो, मैं हमेशा से ये चीज की बात करता हूँ. I have the concept of the Ayurvedic pathology. After say 50 years or 100 years, it should happen or it should be possible that we should send the our Vamana and Virechana sample to the Ayurvedic pathologist, and he should give the result in the quantities of the kapha का कितना percent expel हुआ और पित्त का कितना percent expel हुआ. Because Vamana and Virechana are the only two procedures where the actual visualization of doshas is explained. चरक ने सिर्फ ये दो ही जगह, ग्रंथों में सिर्फ ये दो ही जगह पे प्रत्यक्ष दर्शन का है कि पहले कफ बाहर आता है, बाद में पित्त बाहर आता है, पहले औषधि बाहर आती है, बाद में पित्त बाहर आता है, बाद में कफ. इन द केस ऑफ विरेचना, इन केस ऑफ वमना, वमना में पहले कफ आता है और बाद में पित्त आता है. These are actually only two places where actual visualization of the vamana is possible. So all the experts which are dealing in Panchakarma sector should concentrate on this theory, that if we analyze the constituents of the vomiters thoroughly, अगर कोई मेथड अगर डेवलप करते हैं तो कल जाके we can compare those biochemical constituents with those of the kapha and pitta. So this is my dream, or this is my view regarding this biochemical analysis of the vomiters. So problems, but there are certain problems in carrying out this procedure. No standard method available to analyze the vomiters or the feces except for the toxins. अगर feces का examination दो तो bacterial और physical examination होता है उसमें, और वो woman का तो modern में कोई है ही नहीं कि उसका examination किया जाए. Vomiters is only examined when there is the consumption of the in suicidal cases, the consumption of the chemicals inside the stomach, when the stomach wash is given and extracted materials are analyzed for the chemical thing. So there is no standard method to analyze the vomiters when the intestinal secretions or other secretions are mixed into it. So need to develop the separate biochemical method for each biochemical. अच्छा, हमें ये भी मालूम नहीं क्या आता है. So if you first we have to assume that it might be there, and then you have to develop that the biochemical method for that particular constituent. So it is we don't know also which constituents might be there, and for countering them, for finding them, any biochemical method will be adopted. So it needs a lot of funds and a well-equipped lab with the expert pathologists having the research orientation for carrying this business. But during my PG, I did that thing, the biochemical analysis of vomiters. Whatever the experiment I had done was my PG experience. So I analyzed the vomiters for total proteins, glucose, and exosamine. Dr. Ravi Shankar was there, who gave the method for these three. We needed to go screen a lot of articles and all those things, और बहुत सारा सर्च करने के बाद इन तीनों के लिए वो मेथड, क्योंकि इन तीनों के लिए जो अवेलेबल मेथड है, those are for the blood sample, those are not for the vomitor sample. Vomiters में जो केमिकल प्रक्रिया needed है वो ब्लड में नहीं चलती, वो ब्लड की नहीं चलती. So separate methods were developed for this, and we find these values during the vomiters. लेकिन this type of value should be this type of method, biochemical analysis should be developed more and more for revealing the nature, original nature of the kapha and pitta in the terms of the biochemical constituents. So this was all about the Maniki criteria. Now coming to the last 10 minutes, some of the lecture presentation. When to stop Vamana procedure or Antiki criteria. Recently, I published one article regarding the Antiki criteria. From that the data from that article is extracted over here. So when to stop the process of Vamana, right? हम लोग Vaman का stop करते हैं. So generally when we see the expulsion of pitta in the vomitor, or when the patient faces when the patient says the pitta is there, or panchada or udarda is there, and we find that actual pitta darshana is there. So we stop that process. We cease the process. So cessation point of woman is the antithetic criteria. Vomiting should be allowed by Charaka. As per Charaka, the endpoints are Kale Pravrutti, Anati Mahati Vyatha, Yatha Kramam cha Doshaharanam, and Swayam cha Avasthanam. So, in short, till the arrival of the pitta through vomiters, complete expulsion of kapha is there and involuntary cessation of woman. बहुत बार woman ऑब्जेक्ट करते हो, जिन लोगों ने woman काफी बार किया उनको ध्यान में आएगा कि बहुत बार पित्त का दर्शन नहीं होता है, कफ भी निकल जाता है, लेकिन अब पित्त का दर्शन नहीं होता है and you try to pull the woman out, but the patient is unable to throw in vomiters out. जो भी लेता है वो स्वयं च अवस्थानम is the term used by Charaka for that. At that point, you should stop the process. So, वमना कब stop करना है? तो उसके लिए I am using pH paper since 2001. The pH of medicines and Yeshimadu or other things, इनका pH जो होता है वो around 7 होता है. It's a neutral, right? And the biochemical constituents which are located in the stomach and duodenum are having different pH. So whenever the vomitus is coming out, the vega is coming out, there is always changes in pH throughout the vomit. Yeah, I mean, it's the topic of the different lecture, but in short, I will explain कि पूरा procedure में pH level अलग-अलग रहता है. So initial phase में it is always when the acidic secretions from the stomach, it is always around 6 to 7. बहुत बार 4 तक देखा है कि प्योर अम्ल बाहर आता है और हमें लगता है कि पित्त बाहर आ गया. We should not stop the process of woman over there. We should wait for the pitta from the adhoamashya to come out. चरक सिद्धिस्थान 1/14 की टीका है, वहां पे चक्रपाणी ने very clearly चक्रपाणी has mentioned that pitta from the urdhvamashya जब आता है, you should not cease the process at that point, but you should cease the process when the pitta from the lower part of the amashya is coming out. The tika says like that. यतः कफात् ऊर्ध्वं गतं यदा पित्तं भवति तदा तु पित्तागमने सति अपि न शुद्धि, किन्तु यद एव आमाशय अधोभागगतं पित्तं वमनम् आनयति तदेव शुद्धि. अधोभागगतं पित्तं वमनम् आनयति तदेव शुद्धि. सो जब लोअर पार्ट ऑफ द आमाशय से जब पित्त आना लगता है तब उसको स्टार्ट करना है. सो सबको मालूम है कि गैस्ट्रिक कंटेंट्स का जो पीएच होता है दैट इज ऑलवेज अराउंड 6 to 7 और 4 to 6, and the pH of bile is always around 8 to 9. So जब bile आने लगता है तो pH starts changing at the end of the vomana, and the traditional or conventional method of the antithetic criteria कि symptoms जब लास्ट 15 जब हम लोग वोमन स्टॉप करते हैं तो उसके कुछ मिनट्स पहले से अंति के लक्षण दिखने शुरू होते हैं. सो वी एनालाइज द 40 पेशेंट्स for the symptoms present in the last 15 minutes of vomana. So these were the symptoms. Out of 40, Pitta Darshana was in 16 patients, Kalpapatan was in 18 patients, Tiktaseta was found in 24 patients, Visragandha was found in 23 patients, Svedadikya was found in 13 patients, Balaksha was found in 10 patients. Then other tests were also Amlastata, Katupastata, and Kashasata also there. Kotukastata is also there in 6 patients, and Amlastata was also in 3 patients. So depending on this, the mixture of these signs and symptoms, we take the decision of the stopping the vomana. And what we found the pH during that period or at the end of the period, the pH of the patients was like that. pH value in 5 patients, the pH value was near to 6. In 3 patients, it was near to 7. But in maximum patient, it was near to 8 or 9. So when the pyloric sphincter, duodenal sphincter gets open, the bile from the duodenum, the first part of the duodenum and second part of the duodenum starts coming out, mixing with the vomiters, and the pH suddenly starts turning towards 8 or 9. So this is the perfect indicator to define the antithetic criteria for वमन. अगर कोई, मैं हमेशा से ये सवाल पूछता हूँ कि अगर पेशेंट वमन दे रहे हैं और पेशेंट गूंगा और बह रहा है, वो समझ भी नहीं पा रहा और इंडिकेट भी नहीं कर रहा, आप वोमन दे रहे हो, आइडियल इन लॉजिक क्या बोलते हैं उसको, hypothetical condition, how physician should be able to decide the ANSIK criteria. So pH paper gives the perfect way to define the ANSIK criteria. After this is the pH paper, this is the strip which comes with the pH paper, and this is the end point. This is the 8 or 9. You can see the color change during this. So even I go. One sec. Please hold on. Where it is. Leave it. Yeah, here. Actually, different samples at the different stages of the vomana are this, and at the end, at the base of the test tube, there are the pH papers which are kept at the test tube. So initially, you can see the color changes are around 4 to 6. And as the process goes on, the color changes from light green or light blue to dark blue in the slide. So the pH is a perfect indicator to decide the process of vomana. So now coming to the end of the session, Panchakarma, Dhumtana, we generally use the combination of the Haridra, Vacha, Shuti, Madanpal, Pittali, and Gokruta for the Dhumtana, the Panchakarma. Samsarjan Karma should be suggested. There are 2 types of Yavavadi and Santarpana Karma. Now coming to the scientific writing of the Vaman Patraka. So in today's world, NABH world, I would say, consent forms are necessary. So before dealing with any procedure, consent form should be there. Consent for the Snepana, Abhinantana, and Vomana, and minute-to-minute recording of the Vomana and Virechana is also possible. So as I I've shown you that you can keep all minute-to-minute recording of all the procedures like this. I will discuss it. I will show you the data documentation also and the benefits. So first is the medico-legal protection, and second is the academic value from the research point of view. These are the documentation which we generally carrying out. A lot of my colleagues are having this paper. This is the, as I said, Panchakarma Rugna Parikshan paper. The parts of it were shown in the form of the post parikshan and Prakruti parikshan. Along with that, we go for the everything, which desh is there, the patient, the Kal, which is called Satmya, we from history taking we say the Satmya, Tattva from history taking we can decide Dehabala, Vaya. BMI, we generally count the BMI also of the patient to decide the Sharira Akruti. Then Agni, Ahara, Abhyavaran, and Post Parikshan, and all the other demographic data should be collected. Now, this is the consent. It should be taken in both the languages. I have given this in the regional language, the Marathi language, but all and each and every point should be covered. This is a purely the consent form is purely prepared for the Panchakarma only. Each and everything is legally each and everything is cleared in this even for keeping the record also. Everything is cleared to the patient. Now coming to the Snehapana. This is the only front page of the Snehapana, but I am just here for the Sammati Patra, right? You can see that Snehapana Karma Baddal like that we have said, and this is the Vaman Patra, actual one. This is the front page of the Vaman Patra. I have prepared this front page of the Vaman Patra with including the Vaman Purva Vishranti Din and Vaman Dinanta. Again, there you can see the 3 signs: the Sammati Patra, then Rugna Sammati. I want to show again on the gap day also we take the signature of the patient. On Vaman day also we take the signature of the patient. That everything should be done with the consent of the patient, and document each and every detail of the patient: Mala, Mutra, Apan, Nidra, Abhyanga, Svedan, pulse, BP, SpO2, temperature, Ahara Dravya, and this is we are carrying out all these documentation since 5 years. So वमन पूर्व विश्रांति दिन क्या क्या लक्षण थे और वमन के पश्चात नेक्स्ट डे ऑफ वमन क्या क्या थे, that actually sorry, right? Now coming to the next one, this is the, as I showed you earlier, this is the pH of the Yavagu, this is the timing, and this is the minute to minute timing. 720, 723, 24, 25, 23, 24, 26, 724. The signs and symptoms you can see in the rightmost column. Udgara, Arasa, Nitrata. Then counting of the woman, 330 ml, 6 to 7 pH is there. Yavagupatan is there, 870 ml, counting of that, and the pH, counting of the pH also. Nasa, Srao, Singanas, Udgar. You are similarly simultaneously writing down the timing also. So then you MY is the Madanpal Yoga. Then how much given was given. Then Yavagu, and then you start Yeshimodupacha 2 liter was a jar, and from that 9th class, 10th class, 11th class. So continuously you can write down again here Upavega 850 ml. Then on the right at the right hand column you can see all the things. The pH you can see changes in pH. pH 777, Pittapatan 8, right? Sago Shudgar, Ushnata Pachiti, Lalak Svet, right? So these are the various Vega, Sogo Nasa, Penil Nasa, and at the end this is the 834 at the end of the woman. Again BP, first temperature, you can count all things. And coming to the Panchakarma. So here is the last document. So here are the notes. Woman Panchakarma, woman special observations. We will put those in the column. Then Dhumpan is there. And then other sentences for the whole day of the woman, the patient is admitted. And after every 2 hours, we keep recording the patient. So thank you. Thank you very much. I'm ending up my presentation over. Thank you all for patience. I have mentioned all these things in my book. I have written on this, everything about Vamana. I have given all the details in those that book also. So thank you again, Science Ayurved College, Satpute sir, More sir, thoughts on Vamana. Thank you, Huparikar sir, for moderating this. And thank you all. I especially want to thank my colleague, Dr. Samir Gide sir, Dr. Shilpa Chapre sir, and Shilpa Chapre madam for helping me out documenting all these things and all my Panchakarma team, because it is not possible for documenting and carrying out all this process without the teamwork. So I thank all my colleagues also here for helping me out in Vamana documentation. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Chandaliya sir.
Oh, thank you, Tata sir. Thank you.
Yes. Now I request Dr. Huparikar sir to share his experience on this topic. Dr. Huparikar sir. Dr. Huparikar sir. काय करायचं?
हा अरे yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
I think सुरुवातीपासूनच काही ऐकू गेलं नसेल. I will just I know there is one more lecture after this. So first of all, I would like to congratulate organizers for organizing this national webinar. And let me also congratulate our speaker, Dr. Sachin, for enlightening us all his personal views, personal opinions, and experience regarding Vamana Karma. Initially, he emphasized the importance of Prakriti, Koshtha, and Bala of each and every patient. I specifically written down the thing that while describing Avambya patients, he specifically noted his observation that patients with abdominal belly more than 44 inches should be Avambya. It should be his personal experience, and everyone should start following or at least noting down the abdominal belly. Regarding investigation, I would like to add that one should have a fitness-like thing before all the Panchakarma procedures, and consent form definitely he mentioned at the end. But one should have looking at now NABH and medico-legal things. One should have a separate consent form for each and every procedure of from Panchakarma. He also shared his experience regarding Vamana and Vamaka and Vamanopaka Dravya. His concept about Vega and Upaga, I will discuss these things with him when time permits. I am having few difference of opinion. But definitely, I thought there was some typo mistake regarding intake of 14 liters of Vamanopaka Dravya, which is, I think, is not possible for 14 liters of Vamaka or Vamanopaka Dravya. I just missed that slide, I think, but maybe a typo mistake. But he also shared his dream regarding Ayurvedic pathology lab. Definitely, it's a very good dream, and I would also suggest that we should have differential count also. We know that if Vata all guna, Tatra Ruksho Lagu Shita Kharas Sukshma Chalo Nilaha. So differential count, Ruksha in how much quantity, in percentage wise, differential count, and likewise also we can think. But definitely, at least we should dream something else out of the box thinking. So I congratulate him on these issues, and I also thank organizers for giving me opportunity to moderate this session. And without taking any more time, I end my opinion here and hand over mic to the organizers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I welcome all to the second session of today's webinar. That is, in this session, we are focusing on current pandemic issue, that is COVID-19. To address this issue in relation with our present subject, that is Panchakarma, I welcome Dr. Datta Bapardekar sir to present the topic essential of Panchakarma in regards in regards to pandemic COVID-19. Dr. Datta Bapardekar sir is UG from YMT Ayurvedic Medical College and PG in Panchakarma subject from prestigious Tilak Ayurved Mahavidyalaya, Pune. He has also done his MA in Sanskrit along with Diploma of Yoga. He was awarded with the best PG student also. At present, he is working as an assistant professor at PGAM Ayurved Medical College, Bid. Before this, he was working as a junior research fellow at CCRS located in the campus of Podar Ayurvedic Medical College, Worli. He has presented handful of research paper publications in national and workshops. He has been invited as a guest speaker in various Panchakarma related workshop. His association with our department is grown in last few years. We at APM's Ayurved College, Mumbai conducted 8 successful workshops for general practitioner, giving them hands-off training program. In each workshop, Dr. Datta Bapardekar showed his skill through his lectures, demonstration on various topics. Whenever we had asked him to perform within a short invitation period, he never said no to any of those requests. His motto was, "You say, I do." I welcome Dr. Datta Bapardekar sir to this session. To chair this session, I welcome Dr. Seema Chawardol madam, who is HOD and Professor, PG Guide, Panchakarma Department, R.A. Podar Ayurvedic Medical College. I request Dr. Datta to start his lecture.
Thank you, sir. I think I am audible and my screen is sharing.
Yes.
Okay. So you are getting my first slide?
Yes.
Sir, sure, sir. So I start my lecture. So my topic is essentials of Panchakarma in pandemic COVID-19. I start my lecture because it is already, our schedule is late. So I will try to capture all my points within 30 minutes. So with due respect with all senior teachers, I start my lecture. So in this lecture, you will be having the information brief about COVID-19, then role of Panchakarma, then preventive, what we can do in preventive during the coronavirus symptoms and post COVID-19 impact. And then at the end, we will have the basic principles of the Ayurved, which we are treating. So you must be all aware of this coronavirus disease pandemic since 2019. Then it came to our India in Jan 2020. So you must be all aware of the symptoms and signs of the coronavirus of first strain and second strain also. Going before, I will just give you brief that what will be the sign and symptoms of this coronavirus, or we can call it as a COVID-19. So patient will appear with complaints of headache, fatigue, sore throat, body aches and pains, malaise, cough, either dry or wet, with fever, either subjective, and with shortness of breath. So this COVID-19 is not new to us. It has pandemic attacks before also, but right now we are having the pandemic spike since 2019. So these are the short pathophysiology. I won't be going into detail. You must be aware of these all things. So why the Panchakarma and when we should perform the Panchakarma? So basically Panchakarma, this is the procedure we perform to maintain the equilibrium of the 5 fundamental qualities of matter, means Panchamahabhut. So we maintain the equilibrium of Panchamahabhut through the procedures. Commonly mistakes we do is we know Panchakarma is just only the detoxification, means purification, but it does Shodhan also, it does Shaman also, and Panchakarma does Bruhan also. What are the goals of Panchakarma? While treating this pandemic, we should know that the Panchakarma should do the Apunarbhav, means it should increase the vitality and it should maintain the equilibrium balance. According to Dehabal, it should improve the Dehabal and Deha Sarata, ensure Agni, Nidra and Sharira equilibrium. It should be impact free, means after post COVID, it should be cachexia free, malaise free, and normal metabolism should be regained. What procedures we can do as a preventive? So you all must be hearing and listening and visualizing the all YouTube videos according to various sites of the India, according to various Ayurvedic views, according to Nasya, according Dhumapan and Kaval Gandush. So to prevent such viral diseases, to prevent this pandemic, like it is a Janapadodhvams, to prevent this, everyone should perform the Dinacharya. So during the Dinacharya, you should perform which Panchakarma? So Nasya you can perform, Dhumapan you can perform, Kaval Gandush. Right now it is very famous as a oil pulling. So these small things you can perform, it is Panchakarma. During the pandemic or during the higher episode, mild to moderate symptoms, you can perform Abhyang and Nadi Svet, as it is well said in Charak Chikitsa Sthan 17th chapter of Shwas. So Tilatel and Saindhav Yukta oil, you can do Abhyanga to your chest and then you can perform Nadi Svet. You can, during the corona impact, you can have the Dhumpan also. You can fumigate yourself also and you can fumigate your peripheral area also. You can have Gaval also and you can have Gandush also during the active symptoms. The main role comes right now in June 2021. Right now we are towards the end of the second strain. So right now in Mumbai or Maharashtra or India, the patients are getting lesser quantity, means the second spike is getting towards its lower tail. So right now we are having the patients, those who have got post-COVID impact. So in that, these things, patients generally complains about lethargy, malaise, sluggish metabolism, constipation, dryness, loss of sleep. So at this time, you can perform Abhyanga, you can perform Swedan, you can give various types of Anuvasan Basti, Yapan Basti, Matra Basti. You can advise Shirodhara. Various oils are there. You can give these Shirodharas also. You can perform Shaman Nasya. You can have Gaval, Gandusha, Dhumpan as said previous. And you can hear the another thing that Keraliya Panchakarma, where Keraliya Panchakarma is different than our standard Panchakarma. So these are Pindasved, Annalepan, Shirodhara, Pidinchil and Talapodichil. So these 5 different Keraliya Panchakarma, known as a Keraliya Panchakarma, you can perform. So what are the post-corona impact? Usually patient come to us, means in Ayurvedic OPD, stating that doctor, I had coronavirus impact. Either I was hospitalized or either I was home quarantine, I was isolated, I was getting advice from my doctor through telephonic or virtual calling. And right now my RT-PCR is negative, but still I am getting some issues. So what are these presentations patient come with? That normally patient says that he has or she has muscle weakness or malaise like things, reduced vital capacity of lungs. As you all know that this corona attack respiratory tract or respiratory system. So patient comes with breathlessness, though his SpO2 is normal side, means above 90, 93, 94. Still patient says that reduced vital capacity, A patient comes with nosocomial infections, means hospital acquired infection. Though patient is treating with corona symptoms, but patient is in, though it is in, he or she is in hospital, he or she is prone to all other infections. Some adverse events of high doses of steroids or antibiotics or medicines. Hypervitaminosis means patient doctors give on recommendations of take vitamin C, vitamin D, calcium, multivitamins, B complex. All these uh, things, these chemicals may exceed in our blood and give pictures like a hypervitaminosis. A patient may suggest that sluggish metabolism disturbs sleep pattern and various types of stress and depressions. You all be knowing that in this pandemic, many quarrels have been disclosed with us. You must be knowing in internet or in newspapers, divorce are more in numbers in this pandemic. Uh, More people uh, have no job. So there is a no job. So these kind of stress, depression, uh, personal stress, personal tensions, financial tensions. So these all things will give you the disturbed sleep pattern. Loss of libido. Libido means natural urge to have sex. So due to these all steroids and heavy dose medicines, normally male patient complaints of loss of libido, and female normally give complaints like hair loss, reduced thickening of the hairs. So as we have discussed that Kerliya Panchakarma, Navra Kizim in Pindasvet, Shalishashtik Pindasvet, Annalepan. In Annalepan, we cook rice in Siddha Dugdha, means like a Balak or Dashamul or Punarnava. In that Siddha Kshir, we cook the rice, that is Navra rice, and then the thick paste we apply on the patient's body, whole body. At a time, we apply on the whole body, and within one muhurta or two muhurta, we remove it. So Annalepan is a Swedan prakar, Swedan type. So normally Kerliya Panchakarma, it is subtype of Snehan and Swedan, where Penda Swed means Navrakizi does the Swedan, where Annalepan does Snigdha Swedan, where Shirodhara, you all must be aware of Shirodhara, as I said, that various types of stress, tensions, anxiety. Shirodhara helps patients to remove from these stress areas very well. Sarvangadhara means Pidinchil. This Pidinchil is very much important whenever there is a nervous or muscular neuro diseases. According to Ayurvedic Siddhanta, Pidinchil helps to move doshas from Shakha to Koshta very well. So hence the Sarvangadhara or a Pidinchil, and at the end Talapodichil means apply of medicated herb paste on our scalp. So this is the basic Kerliya Panchakarma. These are the types of Snehan and Swedan. Easily you can perform in your Panchakarma practice or OPD and IPD and Panchakarma department. If you see, Ashtanga Sangrakar has stated who is Panchakarma contraindicated, where means we don't have to do Panchakarma. Those are Langhita means completed dieting on restricted diet. Durbala, weak patients. Upavasita means fasted. Alpagni means weak digestive fire, those having. And Shranta means tired. So if you observe these things, those Ashtanga Sangrakar has contraindicated, but all these symptoms we can observe in post-COVID patients or during corona impacted patients. So though it is contraindicated, but you can perform Shamana Panchakarma in these patients. So I want to just indicate, though it is stated by Ashtanga Sangrakar, it is contraindicated for Panchakarma, but you can do Shaman Panchakarma in these all patients. I will move to principles. I think I'm little bit faster, but I want to cover all the slides. I think I will be finishing my lecture in next 10 to 15 minutes. As we all know that we are exceeding in the time. So it is this statement, this shloka is from Charak Siddhistan, where Charakacharya says that Vaidyena tarkyam buddhimata bhavet, means as I have, means Charakacharya has stated the thing that here you should perform vaman and here you should not perform vaman. But according to avastha, according to desh, according to kal, according to bala, you can contradict the things. As I said before in previous slide, though it was contraindicated, but you can perform shaman panchakarma in that. In the same way, post-COVID impact patients have less agni, has less bala, has less sattva, but though you can perform the panchakarma. Another thing, this shlok comes from the Shwas, Charak Chikitsa 17th chapter. You can correlate COVID with Jirna Jwar, you can correlate with Shwas, you can correlate with Kushtha, you can correlate with Visarpa. There are various principles, various diseases where according to Avastha, you can treat the corona during or post impacted patients. So here it says that the Shwas is a prananashu, means it hanti pran in ashu, in very fast like things. And at the end it says that it is a ashi vishava viva, means it's like a snake poison. If snake captures you, you will be having your last 2 to 3 hours of life. So it is same like you have to perform the things or treatment as fast as you can. These things you all must be aware. There is a Vata Vruddhi Lakshan stated in Ashtang Hruday Sutra Sthan 11th chapter. So normally post-COVID patient come with these lakshanas. Those are Karsha, Karshnya, Ushna Kamitva, Kampa Anaha Shakrut Grahan, Bala Nidra Indriya Bhramsh. I would like to emphasize these three things: Bala Bhramsha, Nidra Bhramsha, and third is Indriya Bhramsha. So Indriya may be 11 Indriyas we are having: Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, and Ubhendriya. That is a mana. So all these 11 Indriya Bhramsha. Then Pralapa, means many of patients are now getting psychotic, means they don't have that much patience. So in consultation room or in OPD, patients sometimes lose their temperature because in the background patient is facing all stress like a financial stress, personal relationship stress. All this stress may give you the pralap to the patient, Brahma and Dinata. So this is the basic shlok we are getting in touch since our first year BMS. But right now, all these post-COVID patients are coming with these Vata Vruddhi Lakshanas. Then again, Dosh Dhatu Malamulam Sadadeha Se Tam Chalaha. What are the proper Vata Karya? That is Utsaha, Uchwasa and Nishwasa, Cheshta Vega Pravartanehi. So COVID is impacting on the Vayu of our in our body. That is, it will depress your Utsaha, it will depress your Shwas Nishwas, means respiration, Cheshta, and so on. So before giving Panchakarma, as I said, and Chandaliya sir also said that in Charak Sutrasthan also, and in this is shlok from the Siddhistan, 3rd chapter, that before giving Panchakarma in any patient, as of Panchakarma, if you are treating pandemic patient or any systemic patient, you should perform Samiksha, Dosha, Aushada, Desha, Kala, Satmya, Agni, Sattva, Oka, Vayobalani. So these things you have to observe before starting any procedure. In here he is stating, Charkacharya is stating about Basti, but the next word, Sarva Karmani, where Chakrapani in his commentary says that Sarva Karmani means Vamnadini Karmani, means Vaman, Virachin, etc., etc. In all Panchakarma, you should Samiksha, Doshaushad, Deshakal, and so on. So, in Virachan patient, is it we can give Virachan to the patient? Normally, the Panchakarma students or normal our BMS students during their internship, they say they have the question like, can we perform Vaman or Virachan in COVID patients? So I will like to give short notice about Vaman, as Chandaliya sir has very well said about the classical Vaman. Normally we can classify Vaman into three parts. First is classical Vaman, those which is texted in our Sanhitas. Second is Mrudu Vaman, and third is Sadhyo Vaman. So if you want to perform Vaman in this pandemic, you can give either Mrudu Vaman or you can give Sadhyo Vaman. If patient Rugna Bala is Adhik and Vyadhi Bala is Adhik, then and then only you can go for classical Vaman. But the patient is Sukumar. If you know that Vyadhi Bal is not that much high, that means it is in moderate or minimal level, then you can go for Mrudu or you can go for Sadhyo Vaman. So you should know the basic avastha of Vaman, when you should give Sadhyo Vaman. So these avasthas are three basic points. Dosh must be present in Amashay. Second is Kapha Pradhanya should be there. If there is a no Kapha present in Amashay, you won't be having Dosh Utklishta in your Vamanopak or vomitus. Hence, Kapha Pradhanya should be there. And third, Utkleshit Lakshana should be there. Means there should be Rullas, there should have Shiro Gaurav. These Utkleshit Lakshana should be there. So all these things are present. So then stat you can give Sadhyo Vaman. In Mrudu Vaman, you can give Snehapan for 2 to 3 days and you can go for Vaman procedure. And for classical Vaman, we give Snehapan and Swedan for just to get this avastha at the end of 3rd day, 5 day or 7 day according to Koshta. Same way in Virachan, normally we give Mrudu Virachan to these COVID impacted patients. Here the statement, one shlok comes from the Charak Kalpastan 12th Adhyay, where Charakacharya says that the Vyadhi Bal is more and Rugna Bal is less. So you can give Virachan every day in Mrudu Virachan, in Mrudu kind, using the Mrudu Bhaishaj. Means you can give either Avipattikar Churna to the patient or you can give Trivrutta Avleha in small quantity to the patient. But you should know the avastha, these Mrudu Virachan, where Vyadhi Dosh is more, but Rugna Bal is less. Then in Vata Vriddhi, as I said, Vata Vriddhi, what things Panchakarma you should perform that Sneho Anilam Hanti, Mrudu Karoti Deham, Malanam Vinihanti Sangam, and Snigdasya Sukshmeshu Aineshu, Leenam, Svedastu Dosham Naiti Dravatvam. Why we should do Snehan means Abhyanga and Svedan? That Snehan, Abhyanga and Svedan try to expel out your dosha from Shakha to Koshta, and it will get removed from your Koshta as if you give the Mrudu Virachan to the patient. Is it necessary to perform Siraved? So yes, if patient is treated by his corona and more days steroid is given, so you can consider this thing as a Raktagata Visha in such steroid dependent patient or history of chronic steroid intake. Then I observe that we won't get early result from the Ayurvedic treatment. Hence, to remove the toxins from the Shakha, here Shakha means Tvak Raktadaya Mamsava. So here to remove the dosh from Shakha means Tvak Rakta Adi Dhatava, you should perform Siraved. Another thing which is commonly performed in Kerala, that is Padaghat, means instead of hand, therapists give massage to the patient through his legs. So this is very different type of massage, but yes, it is done in Kerala. What types of oils you can use according to dosha? So in Vata Vyadhi, you can give Himasagar tail or Bala tail. In Pitta, Chandanadi tail, Chandanbala Lakshadi tail, Shir Bala tail, and so on. And Kapha, you can perform through Trifaladi tail. Yes, Udvartan, many times patient is bedridden in the hospital, and after coming to the his or her home, patient says that there is a stiffness in the body, there is a pain in the body. To remove all these toxins, to maintain the equilibrium of the blood circulation, yes, you can perform Udvartan. A procedure of massaging whole body below neck with the powders of herbs in direction opposite to the orientation of hairs in the body is called as Udvartan. Means in Abhyanga we use oil. Instead of oil, if you perform the Churna, it is known as Udvartan. So normally we do the Udvartan from Kolakulathadi Churna. If you don't have Kolakulathadi Churna, you can mix Trifala with Musta Churna and you can perform the Udvartan. What are the properties of Udvartan? It is a Kafahara, it is a Vatahara, मेदसः प्रविलयनम त्वक् प्रसादकरम गौरवम हंति दौर्गंध्यम हंति तंद्राम हंति and kanduhara. So all these symptoms you can observe that in hospitalized, when the patient is hospitalized, so all these symptoms and the post hospitalized, we can say as a complications, we can overcome through the Udvartan. So the principle is, whenever we perform Panchakarma, we do Panchakarma through our basic principles. And one of our basic principle is Shad Upakram, that is Langan, Bruhan, Rukshan, Snehan, Svedan, and Stambhan. So what are those and how we can perform Panchakarma according to these Siddhantas? So Langan means Vaman, Virechan, Lekhan Basti. You can do Langan. Bruhan, Bruhan Basti, various types of Bruhan Nasyas are there. Abhyanga, Pindasve, that is Navrakizi. Various types of Rukshan Sved, means Ruksha Sved is there, Valuka Potali, Patra Potali, Churna Potali. Snehan, Abhyanga, Anuvasan Basti, Snehanasya. Svedan, either Bashpa Sved, Nadi Sved. Stambhan, various types of Picha Basti, Grahi Basti, Stambhanasya. So according to our Siddhanta, one should perform the Panchakarma. I would like to add, as Huparikar sir said, that consent should be taken prior to starting any Panchakarma procedure. I will add one more thing, that with consent, one should fill one declaration form before starting any Panchakarma from the patient and patient's relative, stating that in declaration form there should be, is there any history of traveling of the patient? Is there a history of vaccine taken, first dose, second dose? Is there any history of upper respiratory tract infection before? And is there history of any family member, those who are having COVID positive symptoms or RT-PCR or hospitalized sign symptoms? So before starting any Panchakarma procedure in our Panchakarma room, you should take before consent as well as declaration form also. So as a preventive, Nasya Dhumpan Kaval Gandush we can do during the impact. Nasya Abhyanga Svedan can be done. Post impact we can do Abhyanga Svedan, Basti, Udvartan, Shirodhara, Pinda Svedan, Annalepan, and Pidinchil. I summarize the thing. Thank you all. Ayurved Science College, Mumbai, Panchakarma Department of Science Ayurved College. Rajendra More sir, Vishwajit Patade sir, Pankaj Tathed sir, Arun Dudmal sir, my HOD Rajendra Huparikar sir, our moderator Dr. Seema madam, and principal our Dr. Satpute sir. I thank you all for giving me chance to present my topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Datta Bapardekar sir, for your knowledgeable lecture. Now I invite Dr. Seema Chawardol madam, who is HOD and Professor, PG Guide at R.A. Podar Ayurvedic Medical College, Worli. Madam did her UG and PG from Nagpur University along with the diploma in acupuncture. She has around 21 years of experience in Ayurveda teaching field. She was the ex-BOS Board of Study member of Clinical Board at MUHS Nasik. Also, she was BOS member in Mysore University, Madhya Pradesh. She is the reviewer, editor, and on advisory board on various journals publishing across the India. She was the principal investigator of a clinical study funded by Himalaya Drug Company. Madam is well-known person and guest speaker in various topics for Panchakarma, related to Panchakarma, and has guided the like-minded Ayurveda followers since then. Madam has published various papers in national and international seminars and in journals. Madam also inspected various colleges as a member in LIC team. Also, she has also inspected colleges for as a CCIM member. She is the subject expert for Panchakarma for the staff selection committee MUHS. You all know, or you must be all aware of that, Podar Hospital was the first Ayurvedic college to undergo for COVID care facility in Maharashtra. Madam work hard to do her best for the needy ones. I will request Madam to express her expert opinion on this for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pankaj sir. It's my immense pleasure to be the part of this national webinar conducted by the Panchakarma Department, APMS Ayurved College Science, and I am so thankful to the I'm also thankful to the organizing committee and principal of the college, Dr. Satpute sir, and HOD of the Panchakarma department, as also. The world has changed in the last some months. Everyone is aware of that. In short time, the pandemic had a reaching impact on the society and human life in all aspects. The need of current situation is to find applicability and effectiveness of the Panchakarma therapy. And that's why today I'm very much fond of this topic selected by the Dr. Datta sir. The essential is thing that is very, very important or absolutely necessary. But one thing I must emphasize here that Ayush already published guidelines for the safe practice of Panchakarma in pandemic. And we must follow that. While treating the disease, we know our capacity. So we are also aware of this fact that we have to follow the SOP published by the Ministry of Ayush. And I think Chandaliya sir, one of them, who published that, one of the member of this that committee. So we must follow the SOP, and that is mandatory, essential, and beneficial for the ourselves and for the society. Another, Panchakarma may also play an important role in both preventive and rehabilitative aspect of the both pre and post COVID by increasing the ball of individual or patient, by treating the patient according to the Prakriti. I acknowledgement the points spoken by Datta Bapardekar. First is the preventive aspect of the aspect in this pandemic situation. This preventive aspect may help us to increase the value of the patient. Another aspect is Sorry, my Bluetooth is discharging. So sorry for the inconvenience. So first aspect is preventive aspect. And in this preventive aspect, we must emphasize on how to increase the ball of the patient. No doubt, we are emphasizing on all the precautions patient has to take care to avoid himself or herself from the COVID. After that, we help the society by increasing the bala, sara and sahanan of the patients or individual. You can say individual if it is not infected with COVID. So that preventive aspect I like mentioned by the Dr. Bapardekar sir. Then during the episode, so again I emphasize is just follow the SOPs and the guideline advised by the Ministry of Ayush. Then Laghu Vamana. My hospital RF Podar is taken by COVID, but it is managed by BMC only. So it is undertaken under the coverage or guidance of BMC. So during episode, we can do the Laghu Vamana, but according to Pala, Sara, Sahanana and Prakriti of the patients. Also, we have to consider the organ which are affecting by the COVID infection, whether they are Matru Javaya or Pitru Javaya. And according to that, we can make changes in our treatment protocol. Last but not the least, what Dr. Datta Bapardekar said, the post-COVID management of the patient. And this is also the main aspect. I'm also always concentrating on preventive aspect and post-COVID aspect. While treating the main episode period, we have to take so many precautions because as we say to the CT score and RT-PCR value, there is no direct connection for the CT score, RT-PCR value and the deteriorating condition of the patient. Many patients have a less CT score, but they are continuously deteriorating. So while treating the patient, have a keen look on Pala of the patient, Saratva of the patient, Prakriti of the patient and the organ involved in the infection. So post-COVID management, they have mentioned very well and very impressively. That includes Abhyanga, Sveda, various type of Kerala Upakram. I think the Mrudu Virechana, that may be beneficial to get rid of the side effect of the drugs, which are this time that is necessity of the patient. Sometimes it is necessary to give the overdose to the continuous steroids and antibiotics. So we can in post-COVID, we can give Laghu, Yamrudu, Virechana and Vamana, Rakta Mokshana, Mrudu Virechana and Rakta Mokshana. These two aspects may help us to get the patient rid of the post-COVID complication. Looking into the speech given by the Datta Patil sir, I find out or I summarize this. They work on two aspects, Sharirik Bala and Manasik Bala. Today, Sharirik Bala and Manasik Bala, both aspects are affecting to the patients. So they advise some procedures which can include the Sharirik Bala and also some procedures which are helpful in increasing the Manasik Bala. In all, presentation is very encouraging. I like some Udvartana procedures or Udvartana they advised because many of the patients after COVID complication or after ICU administration and post complication, they may suffer from neurological disorders, neurological Vatakshaya असं म्हणू शकतो आपण neurological. So that in that case we can do Basti and Udvartana. So in all this presentation is very helpful. This presentation makes open the gate, open the window for everyone to think for their patients or for their individuals that they can do various things. Dr. Datta summarized so many things or so many procedures with drugs. So this may make us a wide gate open to think through which procedure we can select for the patient. In spite, follow the SOPs, have a keen look on Bala, Sara, Sahana and Prakriti of the patients and organ involved. Thank you, sir, for calling me, for inviting me for this national webinar. And last but not the least, I must appreciate the work done by the Dr. Sachin Chandaliya sir and respected Dr. Huparikar sir. I'm always fond of these two papers. So thanks for taking me in this the national webinar. Over to you, Pankaj sir.
Thank you very much, madam. Now, Dr. Bapardekar sir will say something. Dr. Bapardekar sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Good afternoon. On behalf of Ayurved Prasarak Mandal and Ayurved Mahavidyalaya and Panchakarma department, I thank today's eminent speakers, Dr. Sachin Chandaliya sir and Dr. Bapardekar sir, for sharing insight on today's topics related to Panchakarma. I thank both moderators for today's session, respected Dr. Rajendra Huparikar ji and Madam Dr. Seema Chawardol ji, for giving their valuable time and expert inputs about Panchakarma. I thank Ayurved Prasarak Mandal's trustees for providing infrastructure and facilities to conduct this webinar series. I thank our Dean, respected Dr. Sanjay Satpute ji, for his support and for taking initiative in conducting various webinars through Ayurved Mahavidyalaya. We thank Dr. Dudmal sir and his team for providing technical assistance in digital platform for conducting this webinar series. I thank my colleagues from Panchakarma department, HOD, Dr. Rajendra More sir, Dr. Pankaj Tathed sir, and Dr. Akshaya Patil madam for taking initiative and pains in arranging today's webinar in COVID pandemic period. I thank all my teaching faculties and non-teaching faculties also for their support. At last but not least, I thank all participant attendees of today's webinar for patiently attending and for taking active participation in asking questions and doubts. Once again, I thank all of you for your support and interest in learning and updating the knowledge of pertaining to Ayurveda. Thank you. Over to Pankaj sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I again thanks Dr. Chandaliya sir, Dr. Huparikar sir, Dr. Datta Bapardekar, Dr. Seema Chawardol madam, Dr. Vishwajit Patade sir, Dr. Rajendra More sir, Akshaya Patil madam, and each and everyone who enjoyed this informative session. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.